Good morning. It's Saturday, the 24th of March. It's also St. Patrick's Day. This is Shootin' the Breeze. We're back and better as ever, as always. I'm joined by my co-host and crime partner from the land of the rising sun, Mr. Dr. Senju. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening. Hello. Hi. Have you been drinking?
No, I've coffee only.
Coffee only. Good. St. Patrick's Day and you're drinking coffee. Okay, fine. Okay.
I'll have something afterwards.
After, yep. Even if you're strictly uncontrolling yourself, a sip or two isn't going to harm you. So there's that. I mean, yes, it's St. Patrick's Day. You guys are celebrating it. Me, no. It's simple as that.
Boy, I'm an absolute idiot. What? I was just informed St. Patty's Day was last week. I'm a week behind. Anyway, we're also joined by Adam Rice this morning.
Good morning to everyone out there. Good morning, TM. Good evening, Senju-san. TM, you're a week behind. Does that mean you've been drinking the entire week in front of it, or?
I don't know. I went by something I heard on the radio this morning on my way home, and I guess it was just because I was tired.
I think he's buzzed on too much coffee. I think that's it. He's buzzed on too much coffee. Irish coffee. There's a whole lot of clovers and a whole lot of eggnogs. That would be good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good. I mean, my week has been busy enough as it is. It's only March, and somehow I get work done at a whole lot of breakneck speed. I mean, hell, even this week I went to a meeting, and somehow that meeting involved me sitting on a very big cushion. It's so big that you can actually lie down on the cushion, and you can sleep on it. So yeah.
You mean you were telling me you were sitting on a sumo cushion?
No, not a sumo cushion. Your regular.
You know what I mean, though. Those things. Have you seen those things?
Yeah, I've seen those things, but
they're
it's not sumo cushions.
Huge.
It's not sumo cushions per se. It's just that your regular sitting down cushions, but it blows up to about 2 or 3 times the size, and you can actually sit on it, and you can actually puff on it. You can actually mold it in, and you can lie down on it on the floor. Imagine what, like 23 people lying on the floor with those pillows while listening to some crusty old guy giving out a seminar or speech, something like that, in a meeting. So that's what I got for that week.
Wow.
Yep. And that's my week. I mean, number 1's busy. Number 2, it has been surprising with that kind of thing. I mean, and then I heard that I'm going to have some fun next week and next month, because we're going to do some activities. So there's that too. So I'll be bouncing around. So yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's all for me. How about you, good sir? Hello. Oh, okay. Hello.
We are joined by our mystery guest.
Sure. How about you introduce him, Taker?
Yes,
or
our
her.
mystery guest is here. It is my lovely wife, LegendsLover.
Yay.
Hey guys.
Turn up her volume a little bit. She sounds very distant.
Yeah, even though she's there. The mic is out or the mic is in?
Try it now.
Oh, what's that?
I'm not hearing you.
I'm
Check
not-
your mute switch on your headset.
No.
Hold on.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
go help her out of here.
This is what happens when Taker brings in too many guests.
No, you're really. I said check your mute switch on your.
Anyway, how is your day, Adam? How was your week, Adam?
My week was all right. Just tedious work and
I have to do that with mine.
just another day of work for the good old US of A.
Well, that's good. I mean, at least it's work. And we
At least
have
I'm getting
to do
paid.
Yes, that's the important thing. We're getting paid to do stuff. Pay bills, getting work to get paid to pay bills and do your due diligence and off duties. That's all. That's all you want out of life. I'm still surprised that I can still pay my bills even after all these years. Wait. And anyway, considering the fact that Taker is right now just suddenly trying to fix audio issues on the other end of the mic.
I think it's fixed now.
Is it?
Nope, it's not showing her audio working. Hold on a second. I'm going to go figure this out. Hold on.
Okay. Well, yeah. I did not know that LegendsLover is going to come on for a bit. See how my voice is not...
TM was very happy to see.
Yeah, TM was very happy to.
Surprise this morning.
Yeah, it is a surprise somehow. Somehow I do not know. Somehow I am also lying when I say I do not know because I actually know. Hey, okay. Considering the fact that he's going to fix it. Okay. What a week it has been for wrestling as a whole, I think.
It has been quite the week. It feels like we're just steamrolling into Mania at a breakneck speed, and I don't know how we're going to slow down.
I don't know. I mean, I agree. I mean, like I said a couple of months back, because it's the lull of WrestleMania before it actually picks up and goes up to breakneck speed. This is the part where they actually picked it up, strapped a rocket on it, and then just lets it go to WrestleMania. I mean, we're not just going on the golden path to WrestleMania. We're actually going straight to space to New Orleans on that matter.
Well, yeah. Well, when in the middle of your given week, that the news drops, out of the blue like that, it all of a sudden takes it just adds more juice to this season that typically has a lot of juice going for it. It's WrestleMania season. Things are just happening, and you just don't know where to keep, how to keep up.
I don't, and that's what's fun about WrestleMania month, or your trip down heading to WrestleMania 34 at New Orleans. That's what it is. And I mean, it's hard to focus on just one story because there's a lot of things happening all at the same time, and it's just mind-boggling for me, for that matter. Where
Hello,
to start?
do we have you?
Are we testing? No, we can't hear you.
I saw her little volume meter go up, so I just wanted to make sure she was either with us or not.
Yeah. Shit.
Do we have you?
No. Probably not. Still there.
But it's like I was. We're looking at how many matches are we going to have on this card on the April 8th?
Okay, potentially I am looking at 14 matches, I think.
Oh, good lord.
Potentially we were looking at 14 matches. Right now, that has been declared. It's just 11. And that is a stack. Right now, I'm looking at it right now. It's a stack card. I mean, let me run down the whole thing, not by its whole order of things. We have Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, AJ Styles and Nakamura, The Miz, Seth Rollins, and Finn Balor in a triple threat, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal in another triple threat, Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair versus Asuka, a tag match, Cesaro, Sheamus, and Braun Strowman, and to be decided. We haven't really known who to be decided is. Well, we'll have to see. For the Cruiserweight Championship, Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali. Mixed tag match, Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. And then you have the two Battle Royales. One with the WrestleMania Women Battle Royale, and the other will be Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. So you have 11 stuff. This isn't counting any potential pre-shows or kickoff shows that you might have. Like I said, I
think some of those matches are going to end up on the pre-show.
I don't think so. I think they're going to slip in 2 or 3 other matches into the pre-show. We're gonna fit you all on the WrestleMania weekend. So there's that.
So what they're telling me is that everyone in New Orleans is going to be sitting in the venue for 9.5 hours, and they should just probably bring toiletries and other things.
They should probably bring outhouses, caravans, RVs, or just potty, or just portable potties, just to help things out. So there's that.
So as just to let everyone know who is here with us live that yes, it is currently just me and Senju-san, TM,
somehow,
and our special guests are trying to get their audios sorted. So we're just vamping here until they come back.
We're just vamping, basically. I mean, okay. Considering
so let's go into a topic away from some of the main stuff. What are your thoughts on the mixed match challenge as it sits now?
As it sits now, it's entertaining. Yeah. It's entertaining. There are some highs, there are some lows, but all in all, it's still entertaining. I mean, I've said this before, and I've said this countless times already. This is the show where they get to let loose. They get to show a lot more character work. They can be more themselves rather than going fully in script or however I want to believe it is. But yeah.
Our fearless leader is back.
Yeah, I lost internet here.
Oh, you lost internet.
We had a blink of the lights. They went out and they went off, and they went on. So we had a brief power. You
had to reset the whole thing out.
I had to reboot the whole thing.
Okay.
And we're still having the issues with LegendsLover, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, okay.
What was you saying, Adam?
Why don't?
I was just going to say I just saw her volume pop up. Can she introduce herself?
I got no. Can you hear me?
We can barely hear you.
You're hearing her over my microphone because she's across the room from me. Let me see something. I'm not seeing anything on her.
Yeah, no, we're not either.
I'm not hearing her on my headset either.
She's plugging in, and I'm seeing the volume bar, but then it just goes away.
Just static. There you go.
Yeah,
something like
that.
Something like that.
Say something. All we're getting is clicks. Hold on, I'm gonna go back over there and mess with it some more.
Go ahead and mess.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the wonders of live podcasting.
Yep.
I've enjoyed the little bits and pieces of the mixed match classes I've seen. It's just that now we're getting into the finals, and it's clear that it seems like we're getting two different pieces to the whole of the. It seems like early on they were a little bit more free to be their own characters, have more fun with it. And then now that we've got close to the final, it seems like outside pressures of what's happening on regular TV is weighing down on it, because the things like Asuka's streak coming into the fold all of a sudden for no well-explained reason, and to the fact that we can kind of guess that we're not going to get Asuka Charlotte in the Mixed Match Classic before we get them at WrestleMania, kind of tells the story.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed most of it.
Yeah.
This whole thing with Braun and Alexa is funny. Unless your name is Buddy Murphy.
I hope he understands. If he doesn't,
it's professional wrestling.
It's professional.
If he doesn't understand that, he got in the wrong business.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the most that I watched out from it, because it's
The Miz and Asuka have been funny.
Yeah, they have been funny.
Charlotte and Bobby Roode have been
entertaining.
I don't know entertaining is a good word for it.
Yeah,
I
entertaining.
liked the stuff with Carmella and Big E.
Carmella and Big E was alright, even though they can actually let Carmella loose as well as Big E in the more funny side of it. But hey, I like it. I mean, I know that shouldn't have to. I should take wrestling a little bit more seriously, but that's where Mixed Match Challenge provides the whole comedic amount of wrestling. It provides your normal amount of wrestling, but in a more comedic style. So there is, in a sense, there is a place for comedic wrestling as a whole, for that matter. So yeah,
There's a place for comedy in wrestling. It is that not everything needs to be comedy.
mm-hmm.
Not everything needs a punchline.
Yeah, not everything needs a punchline. Not.
Damn it.
Well, I kind of sort of hear Taker on that.
I heard him through her mic.
Yeah, kinda. Now I hear clicks.
Yep.
This is the beauty of live podcasting, where everything you hear is actually live.
Hello.
These clicks. Oh, hello.
Okay, I see it pop up now.
Now we hear you.
I think we're good to go.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Yep. Okay.
Well,
now
ladies and gentlemen, our super secret special surprise guest, Legends Lover, TM's wife, is finally here with us. Please introduce yourself to the people.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Don't mind me, my voice will go in and out, so bear with me.
I think
Yeah, I'm getting my microphone's picking her up. Plus, I hear her in the background. I hear her first in the background, and I hear her on the headset, so I'm a little off.
You're a little off.
Well, that was that. Well, you were a little off before all this, so it's fine.
He's always off.
He's always off. Okay, so
Love you
this
too,
is
sweetheart.
Hey,
I mean,
you're the
okay.
one that's going for speak the truth, so.
Sure. This is gonna get interesting. Very, very interesting indeed.
All right, TM, where do you want to lead this crazy clown car now?
20 minutes to get it all squared away with her.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's start with what you have been researching, Mr. Adam.
Yeah, so I managed to weasel my way onto the podcast again because I have been keeping an eye on basically the ongoing situation that is the WWE and their television contracts.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
As we all know, a couple weeks ago, Fox Network executives were at Smackdown, basically kind of taking in the sights and scenes of a WWE live event and smoozing and just trying to get a feel for what they may be getting into.
Okay.
I am of the belief that when the time comes, WWE will leave NBC Universal, the USA Network, and move over to what is being called New Fox in light of the Disney Fox acquisitions that were made earlier this year.
Interesting. Okay.
The date everyone needs to know is September 30th, 2019. On that date, the WWE's television contract with NBC Universal will expire.
Okay.
So what you have to assume at this point in time is WWE is in negotiations with anybody who might be willing to air their product.
Okay.
And I am of the belief that now that I had some suspicions beforehand, but now with things how they have snowballed to where we're seeing executives show up to television events, like, and then having someone report on it, like Colin Cowherd did on his show the very next day. I believe we are heading into a new direction that not only involves them moving to a new television network and all that might entail. There were also talks of Vince McMahon ceding some more control over to Triple H. And Triple H is getting his ducks in a line to move pieces around behind the scenes for when Vince kind of goes off to deal with his XFL venture again.
Which is going to get undercut, but we'll get into that later.
Yes, it will, most likely.
Okay.
We also heard that about a month or so ago, maybe a little more, there were changes made to the board of directors.
Oh, really?
George Barrios, and let me get her name because I don't want to screw it up. Michelle Wilson. They were both basically promoted to co-presidents of WWE. And are now on the board of directors.
Interesting.
And to me,
that's very interesting.
Changes don't. When you're dealing with a company the size of WWE, any company, changes on the board signify things.
Yes.
George Barrios and Michelle Wilson have been longtime aides to Vince McMahon. Michelle Wilson had a hand in the original XFL. And George Barrios has been with the company, I think, for many, many years.
For a while now, I think.
And then just recently, I found the most recent stock holdings.
Okay.
To Vince McMahon's empire.
Still, he has controlling interest, of course.
He does, but what I found interesting is that Vince McMahon does not own 50% of his company. Number-wise. Vince McMahon only owns 46% by the number of WWE.
Oh, interesting. So
however, the type of stock he owns, which is called Class A stock, I believe,
is the higher end. It's not the common shares.
It's not common shares stock. Class A stock is stock only the McMahons can have unless they sell it. And that gives him 10 times the voting power over common stock. So when everyone was kind of talking about Vince McMahon, when he sold those stocks to put into the XFL, Vince could sell a very large percentage of his company and still have the 51% voting share.
Wow.
But what I found curious is that Mr. Barrios, the man who was just promoted. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Barrios actually has more stock in the company than one Mr. Kevin Dunn.
Really?
Mr. Barrios has the same amount of is the highest non-McMahon stockholder in WWE.
Interesting.
So
that's good.
It's good. Actually, Mr. Barrios has the same amount of stock as one Linda McMahon.
Oh. Okay, who's the major stockholder on this, if you know?
Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon owns 46% of his company, which in terms of stock means he has 88% of the voting power. He has the vote. Nothing goes by Vince without nothing could ever happen on that level because Vince has so much power.
Yeah. he has the majority of voting power for that. Yeah.
But it goes, Vince McMahon has 40%, 46% of the company. Stephanie has 2.5%.
Okay.
Linda has 0.7%.
What does Trips have?
Paul Levesque only owns 0.1% of the company.
Ouch. Okay.
What about Shane?
Shane McMahon is not a stock-holding member of the WWE.
Ooh.
No, when he left before, he sold all his shares
Yeah.
to his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he
did.
took that money that he got and opened up satellite or whatever it was.
He tried to do
in China.
China. He tried to do something
Satellite.
with television in China, and I don't think it worked.
It did.
Small.
It
It
did?
did. It did, but the success of it isn't really that big in terms of business revenue and all that. Isn't really.
That's why he sold it and came back.
And then the other executives in the company have a combined 2.1% of the company. And then outside of that, it's all ownership groups and financial brokers that we don't need to go into here.
Okay.
But they own the other 47% of the company.
What does Kevin Dunn own? Just
Kevin Dunn owns 0.5% of WWE.
oh, so a lot less than what Josh Barry is there. Okay.
Which, but
Sounds
That's
like it's
not-
less than Linda, too.
yes, Kevin Dunn is basically, if you broke it down, is about fourth or fifth in line of shareholders in
He's the
WWE.
man on the totem pole.
He's the fifth man, yeah.
Don't feel too bad for Kevin Dunn, ladies and gentlemen. The man is still a multimillionaire.
He still is.
And
Can't really-
you cannot say the word wrestling around him. Wrestling to Kevin Dunn is almost as bad as a sneeze in front of Vince.
And I misspoke. Class B family stock, and that's the stock that
Class
Vince
B.
owns
Okay.
that allows them to have all this voting power. Because Vince McMahon has 85% of the voting power. Stephanie has 4.5%. Linda 1.4%. And then the other executives are easily 0.4 combined voting power. But like I said, it doesn't matter. If you put just the McMahons together, it's well into the 90% voting power. So it's not like anything would ever happen to WWE on that level. But I thought that was interesting because, like I said before, changes on the board of these companies don't happen often, especially when you figure that these co-presidents positions were created out of whole cloth. They were not there before. They were created to give to these people. And I think it was so that way Vince could still have eyes on his company while he was away doing the XFL.
Yeah. That's very interesting indeed. I mean, it just shows that it just shows that Vince McMahon still has majority of the votes, even if he's going off to do XFL. We don't know what's going to happen in the near future. Whether he's going to pass down a lot more of his control down to his trickle down economics or whatnot. So, yeah,
I believe that kind of stuff is interesting and important to know when we're talking about the potential of maybe Vince wholesale selling the company when the TV contracts come up. I don't think that's going to happen.
No. And I've said that from the Jump Street when that all came about, that Vince ain't selling anything. He's going to keep that in the family somehow, some way. He's going to put it, the Stephanie and Trips are going to get some. Shane's going to get some back. The grandkids, all the grandkids will have shares put in trust for them.
I have always said that Vince McMahon will never sell his father's company.
No, he won't.
not.
His children or grandchildren, on the other hand,
I don't think Stephanie and Shane would.
I don't think they would, but their kids
Might.
I'm talking 50 years down the line here, folks.
Oh, we're all gone at that point.
When we're all dead and gone.
And our kids are watching wrestling, probably.
But and now I kind of want to turn over to the Fox angle of this because I think it's
my kids already do watch, and my daughter's going to WrestleMania.
Whoa,
good
okay.
for her.
I'm
Good
jealous
for
of that little shit too.
This is my youngest.
Okay. Well, what were you saying again?
Well, here's the thing. The funny thing about all this stuff is happening is that it's none of it is a coincidence. That September 30th, 2019 date is 4 to 5 months before Vince's XFL thing starts. So Vince is trying to. I believe Vince is trying to find a way to package the WWE to the XFL, so that way he can get everything on TV at once. I could be wrong about that because the XFL is technically under a different holding.
Yeah,
but who knows?
Well, doesn't Fox lose the NFL contract next year too?
The NFL contracts do not go up until 2021 or 2022, I believe. And that's across the various networks, Fox, ESPN, NBC. They all come up at about the same time. So that way the NFL can sell their TV rights all at once.
I get the feeling that Vince is going to come up with the XFL network and have it on the internet like he's got the WWE network now, because WWE network has actually gained a lot of subscribers as of late from what I've been hearing.
I saw the recent numbers, but of course I think they're up because of WrestleMania season. But they're up.
A lot of people creating burner mail accounts to have it for 20 days and then don't want it.
Don't want it. Right.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting when the Fox Disney deal went down. One of the very first people to speak on it a few weeks after was one Dana Walden.
Dana Walden? Okay.
Yes. And she said, she was speaking on behalf of one Rupert Murdoch, who, as everyone knows, is the owner of Fox. And there was this quote came out. 80% of programming and all of new Fox will be live sports. This was said on January 4th of this year. Now, they would later backtrack off that 80% number. But it shows to me how much of live programming this new venture is going to need. It needs content, especially if this Disney Fox deal goes through. I can't think of any better live continuous content for this new group than
WWE.
It gives them, and then when you start to think about it, the rumors then started to spread because on the very next week, on January 15th, after Dave Meltzer dropped the story
about the whole
I'm sorry, folks. I just lost my train of thought. After the quote was made on January 4th, the very next week, Dave Meltzer drops the story about WWE and Fox potentially working together on relatively soon after that, and Forbes magazine became the first major outlet to run with the story on January 15th. So, is I think just things are starting to come together relatively quickly.
Okay.
And we heard the rumors. I think we all read that there is the potential that Monday Night Raw, if this deal goes through, could end up on broadcast television.
Interesting.
there was talk that Raw could end up on Fox. SmackDown could end up on Fox Sports 1.
Uh-huh.
And then I read a little rumor that, and this I actually read from one Jimmy Corderas, who, for those who don't know, is a longtime referee for the WWE. He said that he heard that NXT could come up off the network and be put on Fox Sports 2.
So basically,
go ahead.
That would be a mistake. Because they would have to expand it to at least 90 minutes for it to be any good. Because the 1 hour shows, that'll give us what? 6.5 hours of programming over 3 networks.
Right. Well, here's the thing. And if this thing with Fox happens, and a lot of people expect that Monday Night Raw would go back to 2 hours.
Yeah.
That would be good.
And I think that makes sense because Fox runs their local news across the country at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
So I think we could potentially see in for a future to where Monday Night Raw runs from 8 to 10. Could you imagine an 8 to 10 Monday Night Raw?
Yeah, that's the way it was at one point. I remember when Monday Night Raw was an hour.
That would be better, 2 hours, because 3 hours is way too long.
Yes, and it's well known that both Vince and Hunter both believe that a 2 hour window is just right for professional wrestling. And after seeing them try and experiment with 3 hours, they can't do it. They can't do it.
But this experiment's been going on for the last 10 years. You should have known after the first year that it was a mistake.
It was a mistake, but the USA was paying them for the mistake.
Yeah, I know. USA got so...
Because I don't know about this past week, but last week, in 3 hours, they had, 5 matches. It was all talking. That was not good.
No, and it's...
We had more matches this week.
And I think that
in a sense, yeah.
I'm thinking that if they went back to 2 hours, I think you'd see a lot of fans be like, okay, great. They're back in their wheelhouse. And especially if you move to broadcast television, that opens up a whole new window for WWE.
In a sense, yeah.
It just opens them up to more viewers.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not more people watch is a completely different thing.
But, in today's times, either everybody has cable or they have satellite now. So it's not like the market is, the fans are, there's no over-the-air TV really anymore.
Oh, no, there's not.
Okay.
Except for those who are cord cutting.
Like yourself, right?
I'm not a cord cutter, sir.
I'm being facetious.
Well, fine.
Why you need to throw him under the bus with that? Who knows?
I was just being a smartass. That's me. I don't know that.
Cord cutter. I don't know.
Oh, you are? I didn't know that.
He might just be a cord cutter. I'm not.
Oh, I'm not either.
But I can't cord cut yet. I need my sports. But and I think another thing we're starting to see is Triple H is taking a bigger and bigger backstage role.
Yes.
Obviously,
yeah.
He's been the one who's kind of resuscitated 205 Live.
Which
I think technically.
Which has been a brilliant move and an eye-opening experience now that they got past the wrestler that shall not be named who that was a mistake putting him over there. He was not popular in the locker room. He was not popular with anybody. They tried to make a story out of it and it didn't work. And then they had the other issue with the gentleman.
The only thing that it did is at first it brought more people to watch 205 Live.
Because of who was there now. That's the only reason.
Yeah,
He was moved over there just because he brought eyeballs, some eyeballs, I guess.
Some
he
eyeballs.
brought a lot. He brought a lot of,
Okay.
but then people couldn't stand him.
And for those who don't also realize, it was Hunter who was at the forefront of the Ronda Rousey contracts talks.
Yeah.
And there's been some talk on whether or not Vince will allow Paul to handle the Brock negotiations.
I think he is. But I'm telling you, and I think right now I'm like this with Brock, which was a nice segue into Raw. Brock, as far as I'm concerned, has run his course. It's time for him to either, shit or get off the pot, either go full time or retire. Because, his limited dates, contracts, and the big money he's getting, it's not worth it. That's what I've been liking about the whole Roman Brock angle that's been going on, is that Roman's speaking the truth. Speaking the truth of a lot of us marks that have been fans for years. We want to see the belt on television, and we're not seeing it. And that is the biggest issue.
It'll be nice to have the belt back on Raw.
But again, it all depends on WWE whether they want to let Brock Lesnar play ball or not.
Well, I don't think that's up to WWE. It's up to whether or not Brock wants to go fight some more.
Yeah, and that's the other issue. Whether Brock wants to fight in the UFC or Brock wants to stay in WWE, and when he makes a decision, then WWE will have to make the creative decision whether they wanted to get Brock or not.
And Brock has to know that Dana White's throwing around money like it's nobody's business. I don't know if anybody else saw this except for me. There are talks that Dana White is offering. I forget the young man's name.
Okay,
he's a young man. He's slightly older than me.
Okay.
Anthony. He's a British boxer who's currently one of the major World Heavyweight Championship title holders in boxing. Dana White has apparently offered him a 10-fight, $50 million a fight contract.
Would he be Anthony Joshua? I think.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
He has offered Anthony Joshua a huge contract.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's
$500 million.
$500 million.
How the hell Dana White don't have that kind of money to throw around? He's not. I mean, he couldn't even cover the $100 million that McGregor wanted to fight. Mayweather. Thank you, Mayweather. Mayweather had to pay it.
Okay.
I want to make sure I'm not talking out of my butt. That was always a problem for me.
Okay.
But yes, there's talk that Anthony Joshua has been offered a mega fight deal by Dana White.
Does Anthony Joshua want to die? Because one of those heavyweights in UFC will kill him.
This was first reported by the Mirror over in England.
Uh-huh.
Which is a like the Inquirer over here, but that's beside the point. It's a tabloid newspaper.
And the headline is Anthony Joshua open to working with UFC chief Dana White in a £350 million deal.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what the conversion is, but it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 million. But as you said, TM, I don't know where Dana's getting that scratch. But that deal is on the table. And Brock knows that deal's on the table. If Dana White is offering this guy that kind of money, then Brock's going to go chase that whatever money he can get.
Of course he is. That's all he's about is the money. It ain't about having fans. It's about the money. And that's the thing about it. That's all it was. Like Metal Matt said in the chat, Brock phones it in most of the time.
But you know what? If Brock wants to go chase dollar bills, then God bless him. Go make your money.
Yeah.
But it's time to give up. If you want to go do that, it's time to give up on the wrestling. Stop acting like it's your booty call.
That's what it is. That's what it is. I have never heard it put better in my life.
Brock knows he can call Vince in the dead of the night at 2 a.m. and say, "Baby, please take me back."
Yeah.
And Vince is going to do it.
Why? Because Vince's like, oh, money there. Yeah, right. Ain't no money there. People are sick.
It's not money.
People are
Taker,
sick.
you're wrong.
People are sick of Brock.
It's not money there. Ooh, Brock, so muscly. Let's take it.
Go.
If he would be wrestling and wrestling with the belt more and more, it would be different. But you never see that belt unless it's a pay-per-view.
And people go, and I know people say, but it was like this with Hogan. Yes, Hogan would disappear with the belt.
But he would cut the occasional promo. You would see promos from him about an upcoming match, or he'd show up, unannounced. This guy, it has to be announced, and no.
And he has to have Heyman, and Heyman doesn't even come around to cut a promo.
No.
So
Hogan didn't disappear as much as Brock does. There would be shows that were not pay-per-views that he would wrestle with the title.
And
Brock
also,
doesn't do that.
They also had the luxury of having tapes. They could put Hogan on and show a taped Hogan match, and to remind people that Hogan was around.
Yep.
This is the days of live television. You can't do that with Brock.
No.
And I'm sorry, when your top belt on your A's show is not there, you're missing something.
Yeah, we wind up with people like The Miz talking about the IC title being the most important title on Raw. And, as much as I can't stand The Miz, I agree with him.
He is right.
He's correct.
That title you see all the time now.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he's there every week.
And I'd play that. I'd play up on that. Put Miz in the main event every week.
Yep.
If Brock's going to be away, put the Miz at the forefront and put some more shine on him.
Uh-huh.
I don't see the problem with that.
Miz has got enough shine on him already.
That's only because you hate him.
Or whoever. Even if Miz lost that title, whoever held that title, put them center of attention.
I mean, and I think that's what will happen post-Mania. But even then, post-Mania, the title's going to be back. So really, it's the
title's going to be on Roman.
Uh-huh.
We all are pretty sure. Everybody in the community that we belong to are all in agreement that Roman's going to get the title. We're going to get the culmination of 31 that we should have got.
We should have. We're getting 31,
which was Brock losing. Well, we had to wait 3 more goddamn years for it.
3 more years. 3 more years of this push and pull booking that has done nothing for Roman Reigns and has only pissed off the fans into hating Roman, into thinking he's some demigod who's getting all this preferential treatment.
He's not. That's the thing. He's not getting all this preferential treatment. This was something that should have happened back at WrestleMania 31. In California. It should have happened then. But no, then we had the highway robbery of Seth Rollins. He was about useless as a champ. And, he was the whiny authority. God, that about killed Seth.
But you got to remember, too, you also had, before Seth, you also had Randy Orton did the same thing. When it come to anybody in the authority getting it, they whined. They didn't do shit because everybody else did it for them.
Yeah.
But that's because that was the authority.
there's ways to being a chicken shit heel that makes it advantageous to your television, to where you can see you want to see this person get their ass kicked.
Of course.
I wanted to see Seth get his ass kicked, but I really kind of wanted to see Hunter and Stephanie get theirs more.
Oh, I did too.
That's the problem.
I wanted to see Stephanie actually in an arm bar.
I mean, that's the general
Well,
problem.
you might see that this year.
Yeah, we
I
might.
think that's the general problem of you actually slipping in some middle management or upper management for in your wrestling storyline, for that matter. Yeah, the focus and attention is directed at the wrong person.
And speaking of focus and attention, let's turn our attention to the must-see WWE Intercontinental Champion.
Oh, shut up.
The most much. Yeah. Let's do this. I'm excited.
Calling out Tyler Black and Prince Nevitt.
Yeah, Prince Nevitt. Not Prince
Nevitt.
Nevitt. Prince Nevitt. He screwed that line up.
Oh, Nevitt. Okay, Nevitt.
But you know what?
Tyler Black is Seth Rollins, and Prince Nevitt is actually
Finn Balor.
Fergal Devitt.
Fergal Devitt.
Finn Balor.
And supposedly it's actually Prince Devitt, not Prince Nevitt. But
It is Prince Devitt, but it is what it is now.
It is what it is. It's funny all the same. I like it.
I was sitting there going, who the hell is Prince Nevitt? I knew who he was talking about, but still it's like, Prince Nevitt? Wait a minute. You're an idiot.
You know what? Misspeaking aside, that was a good promo.
That was.
And I'm a little excited for the triple threat because I think this will be that. I think this is a match that could steal the show at Mania.
If it's given time.
I'm sorry. I'm just laughing. I'm just laughing at what.
If it's given time and the damn Miztourage get kicked out of ringside, because I'm getting tired of their interference. Okay. Give those two, give Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas something else to do besides be a pair of lackeys for a spoiled, entitled bitch.
Why aren't Dallas and Axel challenging for the tag titles?
I guess because Miz won't let them.
Because
it's all about him. You know.
I'm talking from a booking perspective, not from your hatred of the Miz.
No, it's not my hatred of the Miz. It's what I see.
It is. It just is.
And like I've said before, I do not hate the man. I despise him. Hate is too strong of an emotion.
I know that.
I'm letting everybody else know.
If you're going to put somebody with someone like that, they need to be doing something instead of just standing there. Go, let them challenge for the tag titles. Let them roll around. Who's another? Give them the revival.
Yep. Give them the revival. Give them Titus Worldwide. Give them
something.
Give them the New American Alpha. No, they're on SmackDown. Never mind. You know, give them something.
Well, when the other Singh brother comes back, give him the Singh brothers.
He's not going to be back. He's not going to be back for over a year because he tore his ACL.
But that would be a good one. You got the Miztourage, and then you got Jinder with his idiots.
Well, that's a cross brand.
Let the two idiots wrestle.
Yeah, but no, you're right. Give them. They're serving nobody standing back there. And I think what you're going to see at Mania is they're going to try to interfere, and then down come Gallows and Anderson. Gallows and Anderson take out the Miztourage, and then you'll have whatever your finish to the match will be. And even then, even as I just said it, why in the midst of this triple threat with Balor and Rollins, why aren't the Miztourage feuding with Gallows and Anderson?
That would be good.
That would be a real good match.
Like I said, we're in the Mania season. No one needs to be standing around with just a dick in their hands.
Well,
Tell us how you really feel, Adam. Tell us how you really feel.
And not only that, Gallows and Anderson and Gallows, they need some substance because they're getting buried.
You know, I don't think they're getting buried. I think they're just getting left behind.
yeah, they're
Left
they
behind.
Are.
The only way they're doing good is when they're with Finn, and those guys are good without Finn.
They don't. They are a great unit when they're together, but if the only reason why you're going to bring out Gallows and Anderson is so that they can model some new BC OG or OG BC T-shirts, then you're wasting them. Give them the Miztourage, and I'm not saying it has to be on the card at Mania.
Hell, give them a pre-show match between those four.
Yeah, let them annihilate the Miztourage. That would be great.
I say, have a. You know what would be really nice, and you're going to say, I know what you're going to say, Adam. When I'm all said and done, is this? What would be nice is to have the Miztourage do a stretcher job on the pre-show.
Yes. Give agency to the match early in the night.
That they're at the hospital because Gallows and Anderson broke them up so bad.
And then the Miz doesn't have his backup
at the ring, and he has to go in all alone.
That would be great because then what else would be good is once Gallows and Anderson did that, let them go for the belts. Let them win the tag team belts. Let Finn win the Intercontinental. You got the three.
Right, and it'll give, and then you've elevated the club. And then you have created stars.
Yeah, you elevated the club, but you also got it where Anderson and Gallows, that they're actually showing that they're good, that they're prominent. You got the three titles right there. They're working good as a 3 unit and as a 2 unit. That's what they need.
God, the only thing that the WWE needs is a trios champion.
Hey, they did it with look what they did with Towns of Justice. They did that. There was the tag team titles, and then they had
the U.S. title.
U.S. title.
The Shield had the U.S. title and the tag titles when they first came up. When they first came up, they put the straps on them and made something of them.
Yeah, but the only problem with the Ambrose having the U.S. strap is that every time we turned around, there was a report that he was injured. He wasn't defending the title.
Well, that's first number one. And number two, that title hasn't really been defended when Ambrose was the U.S. title for the first time.
Yeah, he had that belt for what, 200 days?
Yeah, and he didn't defend it but maybe 2 or 3 times.
And I'm not saying that, yes,
I'm not saying
the booking fell apart. The booking fell apart a bit there, but what they did initially was right. You have this monster group come in, sweep the landscape, win titles immediately, and then you've placed them in a position of dominance. They didn't do that with Balor in the club. They did it with Balor when they put the Universal strap on him. The problem was his shoulders separated.
Yeah.
And now to bring him out, they wanted the Balor Club together. They got the Bullet Club together. Now, do something with them.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's just an opportunity. And then this whole thing between Seth and Finn is kind of funny.
Well, it's entertaining in a funny way, but it's still entertaining.
It's entertaining, but Miz is trying to do okay. Do we not see any similarities going on here? Because I do.
Between
you got Miz trying to stir the pot between Seth and Finn.
Oh wait, no, I got it.
Jinder was doing the same thing with Orton and Rude.
They're identical feuds.
Exactly identical, and people have not. I've not seen it posted anywhere about it. That it's the identical feud.
Two different brands, same feud. You can't do that.
Well, no one's connecting the dots because The Miz is infinitely more talented than Jinder.
Very much so, on the mic, at least.
That's true.
Jinder has to be spoon-fed racist remark promos to get him over as a heel.
And well, unlike
That's
both
cheap.
Rude and Orton, Miz has Rollins and Balor to work with.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's got two good wrestlers.
And I'm not saying I'm not saying that Orton and Rude are bad. They're talented in their own way.
But Jinder is not that good, so that's where you get the screw up there.
Well, the only screw up is that you wanted to place Jinder Mahal as the upper card or the main event person, which he clearly isn't. He's only good as a lower card to mid card talent. Sure, okay.
And then with the other three, they're all top card.
The thing is, we should not be seeing in Mania season two feuds that look exactly the same.
And they do, and people are not connecting the dots. I see. We have someone in here who has decided to start a drinking game because every time I cringe about The Miz, they're going to take a drink. Biff, why don't you write a posting about the duality of these feuds that are going on both SmackDown and Raw? I'm sure you can come up with something very interesting.
Well, someone posted a fan post on CSS talking about copy and paste Mania.
Yeah.
So there's that. I mean,
the Mania card itself is a strong card. I've looked at it. It's a strong card. It's one of the strongest cards we've had in years. There are defined feuds pretty much throughout the card. We can move on to other things, but I mean, the Raw Women's Championship, I see shenanigans having Alexa keep the title.
I don't think you can have that strap on Alexa coming out of Mania.
I do too, and it's a shame. She needs to get off. They need to take it off of her.
Well,
she has no heat. She's not really good in the ring. She's poor in the ring. She's okay on the mic.
She can cut a good promo.
That's it, but she can't get heat. She has to have a heater with her at all times. She has to have someone that the crowd doesn't like. All of a sudden, now Nia is a face because of the promo about body shaming.
Which that's what you want to happen. If you're going to cut that promo, then Nia has to be a face, and then Nia has to get her revenge.
But Nia's not going to get her revenge because there's going to be shenanigans involved, and she's going to pull the same thing she pulled with Asuka. She's going to get her. She's going to get beat. Mickie James is going to pull her out of the ring. She's going to take a count out, and that's the end of it. Nia will win, but not get the title.
And then, see, if you do that at Mania, then you've killed everybody. Everyone's dead. Everyone's dead. Nia's dead. Alexa's dead. Mickey's dead. Everyone's dead.
Because you build your champion as this sniveling heel who needs help just to retain the title. You throw your suspension to disbelief away because Nia Jax should be able to beat Alexa, which she isn't because she's going to use shenanigans. And Nia Jax will look even weaker because she didn't really get any kind of measure of revenge against what Alexa has done to her in the first place. So everybody loses. Everyone loses.
If I'm handling this in the next few weeks, if you gave me this book with Alexa and Nia, I'm having Alexa escape Nia's grasp at the last second every time going into Mania. And then in Mania, I'm having Alexa lose in a 1-minute squash.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's what it should be.
I say...
But you need to do something with Mickie James.
Mickey...
You need to eliminate Mickie James. So during that, the weeks that were leading up to this, because it wasn't until 2 weeks ago that we knew exactly where Asuka was going, because they put that on the back burner because of the whole Ronda Rousey thing. I mean, that was a timing error. That was a timing mistake.
Yep.
If you read the chat, Biff has got a really good thing there with Carmella jumping brands. That would be something to see. I don't think it'll happen, but that would be good. Carmella coming in there.
You were saying, Adam?
I think that's what we're getting set up for.
Yeah.
I think we are getting, if you're not going to have Alexa, if you're not going to have Nia win, then having a Nia just annihilate Alexa, even if she loses, and having Carmella come in and taking the belt off her with the Money in the Bank, then I think would be great. If you're not going to give Nia the belt.
If you're not going to give Nia the belt, because, well, I think in the sense that people want to see Alexa be gone with the title belt. I mean, other than Nia, who else is going to take the belt? Two people are already too busy in the feud, Sasha and Bayley. The rest of them is going to be involved in the Women's Battle Royale. Other than that, there's
that's where Sasha and Bayley are going to be, and we're going to see Bayley go heel.
Oh, give it time. Give it.
The one person, the face boss from the community said that her and I had talked about this at length, and she has the greatest way to do it: have Bayley have her win the Women's Battle Royal. You know, have her be the one that eliminates Sasha near the end, and just like glare at her, like, "Yeah, I did this. I did it to you. I stabbed you in the back. Yeah, that's right." Have her come out Monday night while Sasha's cutting a promo about how Bayley stabbed her in the back and this and that, and then Bayley comes out and says, "It's not always. It's no longer about you. It's about me." Takes the trophy and smashes it over her head, cuts a promo while she's standing over her, and drops the mic in her chest and walks out. There we have Bayley reset as a heel. Sasha is a sympathetic face, and let it run. Just reverse the roles.
I know a lot of people are going to be upset that we're going into year 3 of babyface Sasha. And I think people are clamoring for that heel. But the way this is being told, and the way that it has to be told, there is no other outcome than Bayley turning heel.
Because Bayley is so far buried, she can't see the bottom of it.
No, Bayley is so far buried, she can tell us where Hoffa is.
Wow. Wow.
Now, these ones that you guys are talking about with Bayley and Sasha would be good. The one with Carmella would be good because the only other option with Carmella is with Asuka and Charlotte. And that wouldn't be right because you can't have Carmella is not that good not to end the streak and take the belt. The only way that one would work is if Asuka and Charlotte had a long drawn-out match. Charlotte just barely beat Asuka to end the streak, and then Carmella come in and take out Charlotte. That's the only way that would work.
Yeah, take her out with the briefcase, then cash it in.
That would be the only way that would work, because Carmella's not good enough to do both.
Or just interrupt the whole proceedings. Bang.
Carmella, you're going to have to shit or get off the pot with Carmella. And I think that's where we're coming to with her. Either she's good enough to have that briefcase or she's not.
But the thing is, too, she's already said publicly that if she is required to fail her cash in, she's fine with it.
And you know what?
She has said that briefcase has become an albatross to her.
It has,
but in a sense, that is her opinion. If the company tells her that, okay, we're gonna need you to lose the Money in the Bank contract, okay, I understand that. I think she accepts that fact. If she wins, she'll be more than happy. If she loses, she'll accept the fact. It's just
I think if she's gonna win, the best one would be doing the switch from SmackDown to Raw, because you can't have somebody that's not that good beat a streak and be a champion at the same time. She can't do both.
I think what we've come to realize is when they came out with that first women's Money in the Bank, that whole thing was set up just for Ellsworth to climb the ladder.
Twice.
That whole thing was so Vince McMahon could get a laugh about a man winning a women's match.
I think so. Yeah, he
The
didn't
first
really.
one. And Carmella having the briefcase was just a side note, so someone could get their chuckles.
Yep. Oh, the
So-
women want a Money in the Bank match. Well, let's see how badly I can fuck them over.
Well, that would be the same thing as with Baron Corbin winning it. That was a joke.
Yes, Wiley Corbin.
That was a joke.
So now that you have this girl who has this briefcase,
Mhm.
if she loses it, fine. But to me, then you've undercut that match. That whole significance of what that was supposed to be goes away if she loses that match. Because then it immediately you draw the comparison to the men's and how the winning percentage of that briefcase has for the men's, and then right out of the gate, the women can't win with this great chip on their in their back.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
I
like
mean-
I said, it's a mess. The whole Money in the
It's a
Bank
mess, but
contract for women is a mess.
It's a mess, but it depends on how they want to utilize it.
Yeah.
They want Carmella to cash it in. Fine, cash it in. They just need to build Carmella properly after she wins the title. If she wants to cash it in and loses, then well, you just throw everything in the gutter. Thank you very much. We're not going to see another successful women's title defense. Women's Money in the Bank briefcase cash in success.
The best
Well,
thing.
it's not that we won't, it's that they've put them behind the 8 ball. And let me say again for the record, I like Carmella. I think she has talent for the business.
Well, her dad was a jobber for WWE,
Yeah.
so she knows the business. I mean, she's not ignorant to the whole business in general because
But
of
I
her
have
father.
always said that Carmella is a manager more than she's a wrestler.
Yeah.
That
Agreed
girl,
as well.
give her somebody, give her the stick, and let it just become a thing. You have this perfect indication, and we'll probably get to them later, of Zelina and Ellie Dolo
Cien Almas, of course, yeah.
in NXT.
Mhm.
Why not try to do that with someone on the main roster?
She would
Someone
be
threw
good.
a suggestion.
Maybe Carmella could bring out some of what was brought out for Almas and someone on the main roster.
Well, someone actually did try and suggest something for the new day. Toss Carmella and
Yeah, they did have a lot of fun with the Mixed Fans Classic with them, but I don't know if Carmella snugly fits in there with the New Day and what they bring to the table.
I mean, they fit. It's not arguable enough that they fit. It's just that,
Well, there was the controversy that was caused by one of the photos that was out there. That I don't know if you saw it, Adam, but I was in one of the threads, and one of the photos. I mean, they were tasteful photos. Don't get me wrong, but one of the photos said "blacks on blondes."
Oh,
That was the hashtag that was watermarked on the photo.
Oh,
why can't we have fun?
And
Why does everyone
NBS,
have
you were there tonight that we all went after the guy for it. Every one of us in the thread went after him for it. He didn't understand. Granted, he's not from the United States. He doesn't understand how that could be taken by some people here.
Why can't it just all be good old wholesome American fun?
Because it can't. Because it
I
can't.
don't. I don't.
So we've talked about Bayley and Sasha and the SmackDown, a little bit on the SmackDown side with Carmella.
Well, let's delve in on SmackDown.
Who's Braun's partner going to be?
I say Elias. I say that's the perfect one. Elias would be the perfect partner for Braun because of the abuse that he has already taken from Braun.
Hell, let Braun do it himself. He's good enough for two people.
They won't let him do that, though. He's being forced by Kurt to have a partner.
Storyline wise, yes, he's being forced to have a partner, but it's not just that. I think you kind of cheapen the tag team champions.
No,
Yeah, in a sense.
for a joke, which would be good, is look at him, the little big team. Let him say, hey, he was going to bring in Alexa, and she could just stand there.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think of that.
That would be good.
That would be hilarious.
Put the tag strap on Alexa with Braun because Braun can take two guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? I mean, that would be hilarious.
You got to admit, when you come to the challenge, the mixed challenge, they are good together. You get this shy guy that doesn't know what he's big, tough, mean. He goes after the guys. But when it comes to her, he's a bumbling idiot.
He is. He is a complete shy kid that doesn't know what the hell to do with a beautiful. And I'm going to say this: Alexa is a beautiful woman. She is, and he's like he can't. He has two left feet and becomes dumbfounded. He can't speak.
My favorite. Put it this way: I don't care for Alexa, and I really don't care for Bryan. But when it comes to the mixed challenge, that's my team. I like the little big because they're more natural.
I look at Braun as being almost a parody of what a big man in wrestling has been. He is this over-the-top incarnation of guys like One Man Gang and
or basically Vince's wet dream all combined into one.
Well, no, not even that. Not even that. It's this idea of what we think Vince likes turned up to 12. Because think about it. He's not your normal big guy. I mean, they've thrown him in the back of a trash compactor. He comes back to Raw inside the trash compactor alive.
Somehow.
All they did was close the clamshell. They didn't actually compact what was in there.
I know this.
I know.
But like I said, you know what? That would be the best thing they could do. He doesn't get along with most of the guys on there for a tag team partner. Him and Alexa. That would be hilarious. And it would be good. It would be a good show.
But doesn't that turn Alexa babyface?
Not really, because she is still in there. Or he's more babyface keeping it over.
Because I saw those clips from the Mixed Match Classic. And Braun was enthralled with Alexa.
I've seen clips too. It's like where Alexa wound up on his pretty much his chest and waist, and it's like he's like, "Oh my god, that's beautiful woman." I mean, he is totally different, and it's funny as hell.
But it's not just his attitude. Look at his eyes. His eyes tell the story.
Yeah, he's actually a pretty good emoter of what he's trying to convey. The guy has lots of personality.
Oh,
but
he does.
I think, call me a traditionalist, but I kind of want to see it be a tag team.
I know.
And
so do I. But with the way they're changing things and the way they're doing things, they're going to change it. Let him change it this way for Bryan. I mean, he's a big guy that does not get. Well, look at everybody he's got. Does he have any friends there? No, he don't want any friends. He wants to annihilate him. So give him somebody that is a heel that will cheer him.
Well, you know, you brought up that idea. He's a force that wants to annihilate. I have to wonder, how soon is Joe supposed to be back?
He might not make it for Smackdown for WrestleMania.
No, he's not coming back till after. That's the latest anyway.
He might not make it.
Well, who said Joe has to take a bump?
True.
Joe and Braun is a dominant tag team?
It could happen. It could happen.
But
they could be doing the tag teams, but right after they're done, those two would be going after each other.
Yeah, I think you can have fun with it. I'm just saying, I think that he's going to have a tag partner. Who it is.
But I think the only confirmed thing that I can get is that he's gonna return back in time for the European tour.
Yeah.
But that would be put in it basically in May. And he's just pretty much waiting on creative. That's all I've heard about it anyway. So.
Well, creative, here's an idea. Put Joe with Braun.
Yeah, Joe could just stand on a apron while Braun does all the work.
Or even better, just put him on a Segway machine and just go, Braun. You can do it. A badass like Samoa doing that. I mean,
at the end of the day, the whole story is that Braun can take on these two guys. And it doesn't matter who the partner is. But I think they're still going to want someone in there who can at least work a little bit. So that way it's not all about Braun.
Well, the one question I have is this. I'm gonna change gears here.
Okay.
The 800-pound gorilla in the room is John Cena turning heel, going after the Undertaker?
Yes.
His promos have been a bit heelish towards Taker.
John Cena has called the Undertaker every name under the sun except Buddy.
Yeah.
And you think of the crowd. He is getting booed left and right. There is no cheers for John Cena.
No.
Boos.
Let me first say this. I don't want this match.
Okay.
Leave me with the memories. Leave me with the dead man in the ring at Mania. Just leave me with that. But if you're not going to give me that, and I have to watch these two geriatrics have a man.
Hey now.
Wait.
now.
Cena is a geriatric now?
Cena's 13 years younger than I am.
And he moves like he's 13 years older.
Not only that, why should Cena get the chance? Every chance he's been given, he's lost.
Because this company is coming to grips with the fact that they're getting ready to lose both.
Yep. Number one and number two, this is John Cena you're talking about.
John Cena is doing the thing. He's John Cena is, and people, you're gonna hate me because it's one of the more beloved characters. He's doing The Rock. Because the Rock went and is making movies in Hollywood now. And that's what he used WWE for. Cena is getting involved in more and more mainstream stuff. It doesn't have the time for the wrestling anymore.
Right.
But there's also a difference between Cena and The Rock. Anytime The Rock comes back, The Rock has proven he was good and he'd win. John Cena's losing.
Yeah, The Rock is more over than Cena ever was.
This whole thing has devolved into I'm going to shame the Undertaker into coming back. And he's going to come back. And he's going to come back as Biker Taker. Let's stop there. It's going to be Biker Taker.
Okay.
Are you sure about that?
I'm about 100% positive.
I just
you know what? I think there's one thing I think that made John Cena into something that he is right now. I think he's just pissed that he's hosting the Kids' Choice Awards. So there's that.
Johnny loves
This is his revenge.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
He's just pissed that he's hosting Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards. I should be the one leading WrestleMania.
He's going to get slimed and gucked to death on that show.
Yeah. He's hosting
Yeah, he's hosting the Kids' Choice Award. And I think the reason why we're going to get Biker Taker is because Deadman Taker got retired.
Why don't we get Ministry Taker?
That's what I said. Watch come back as a ministry.
Because they don't want to put that much thought into it.
No, yeah, I know. Because
And-
the image...
let's not forget who's going into the Hall of Fame this year.
Goldberg?
No. Kid Rock.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, well, that's one.
Biker Taker's theme song.
Well, Limp Bizkit did
it first.
Yeah, they did Rollin'. Yeah.
Yep. And then American Badass was Kid Rock. They're not
Even
going to miss
American Badass is good, but I see more the ministry.
I would prefer Ministry Taker, but I think it's all lining up to the way that John Cena is cutting his promos. You have this specter overhead of
Dead Man Taker.
Of Dead Man Taker, who, is gone.
Mhm.
And then you have the fact that they're going to have Kid Rock at Mania. There's no way they're not going to have him perform.
I think the only argument I could support on that one is that what's your image of a Mark Calloway?
To me, he will always be Dead Man Taker.
Mhm.
That's who I see when I see the Undertaker. The
Mhm.
ministry, the darkness, the black, and that's him.
Mhm.
But the thing about Taker has always been that he's had these changing personas, and when you put one down, one would come back. You'd come back somehow different. I'm of the opinion that just because the dead man got put down doesn't mean the biker's still went around.
But okay, I see your point, but wasn't the biker Taker during the Ruthless Aggression era, or was that the Ministry Taker?
Ruthless Aggression era. Ministry Taker was back when
Ministry Taker came around during the late part of the 90s during the Attitude Era. And Biker Taker was pretty squarely in the Ruthless Aggression era. So I think they're going to want to celebrate both at the end of the day.
And I think the only basic thing that I can say is that the regular image of me seeing Undertaker on a bike looking like a biker is just a little bit humanizing as watching Mark Calloway walk into the ring. So
now wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah.
He comes to the ring. He comes to the ring not as Undertaker or Biker Taker, but he comes in as Mark Calloway and kicks Cena's ass.
Well,
he gets himself introduced as Mark Calloway and beats his ass.
Get his leg up high enough to kick Cena's ass? I know his hips are pretty bad.
I know he's had hip replacement surgery, but Piper wrestled after having it done too.
That's true.
And Piper was able to get his leg up high enough to kick people in the ass.
My thing, as I said,
and remember, there's about a foot difference between Taker and Cena, so he doesn't have to get his leg up that high.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, no, he does got to get his leg up high because Cena's ass is up where his head's supposed to be.
Nice.
Oh, Jesus.
Nice.
Wow.
Right.
The match I don't want, but we're going to get it. I pray it doesn't go longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's hope not.
I think having Kane show up this past week was a nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the clincher of Cena and Taker.
It was his brother delivering a message.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His brother basically told the message for him was, shut the hell up.
You do not want this problem. And John Cena thinking, I kind of want this problem.
I kind of want, because John Cena is John Cena, and John Cena gets what John Cena wants. John Cena wants the Undertaker.
Well, like we said, he's trying to be the Rock, and he's never going to be it. Rock would come in, Rock would win. Cena's not winning, so he's biting off a little more than he can chew on this.
Well, the last time I remember The Rock coming in and going all Hollywood is that he got his ass whooped by Goldberg.
Here's the thing. I don't see...
Yeah.
You said there's no way Cena's winning. I don't see Taker not ever going out on his back when it's time to go.
I don't know.
He's going to do the job 2 years in a row. Because that's who he is.
Yeah, Taker's not going to go out on his back.
Taker, I'm sure Taker don't want to go out on his back. He'll if we're going to get the match none of us want. We all know that. Let Taker win. Come out on Monday Night Raw, cut a promo, and actually say he's done.
That's so against it what I'd always imagined them.
Well, the best going out thing was what Jim Ross said, and I heard it years ago, 3-4 years ago now. Give Cena, at this time, it was going to give Cena his 16th title run to tie Flair.
Mhm.
And have those two have Cena and Taker meet at Mania 31 for the title. Taker wins it. Monday night he comes out. He says he can't, it's great that he won the title, everything like that. But it needs to be exposed more than what he can do for it. And he sets the title down in the ring and says, I'm retiring, and that was the end of it. And he walks out of the ring, leaving the title in the center, a la Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded that. But what we're gonna get, I mean, hey, they say you never get a second chance to say goodbye. Well, we're gonna get a second chance to say goodbye.
Also, I don't see Cena beating Flair's record. I think Cena will go out as a tie.
I don't know what this means for Cena after this. I don't know where he goes. Honestly, if both guys disappeared after this, I wouldn't be shocked.
That's true.
I think John's ready to go for the most part.
I think so too.
He has his 16th title. He tied Flair.
Flair's okay with it. He has said so.
He's going to have Taker's last match.
I mean, what more could you want?
Yeah, what more is there to go out on?
He doesn't need to beat the record.
He doesn't need to. He's already proved. He already proves himself.
I don't think he. I mean, if they go out of WrestleMania and put John Cena in a title program, okay. I'd be so nonplussed about that, but
I think if we're getting Taker versus Cena, I think it's best that we just let's see what ridiculousness we can think of with the two of them.
Oh God, this will make the podcast go for hours. We don't want to do that.
Hey, I got to work today.
Yeah, she's got to leave. You got to be to work in an hour and a half.
To leave Raw where it sits.
Fine, fair enough. Let's talk about the big news, the biggest news.
Should we talk about the big news of the week? This thing that I think everyone is tuned in is wanting us to talk about.
Which is.
Well, didn't you hear some guy got cleared this week, PM?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Short guy.
Daniel Bryan is clear to wrestle.
Hallelujah.
And he got apron bomb.
No, wait. That's not the biggest news. The biggest news that I successfully renamed the Atomic Drop.
Well, no.
Or Kevin Owens and Sammy getting fired.
Yeah, Kevin and Sammy got fired, which was, kayfabe fired, which is great.
Well, here's the thing, though, with the whole kayfabe firing. If you notice, Kevin Owens changed his Twitter name
to Kevin Steen.
Yep.
To back to his real name.
Yeah. Sami Zayn hasn't really changed his yet, but I'm looking.
Changed it to El Generico.
Yeah, probably. Who knows?
That's what I was expecting. El Generico.
Yeah.
El Generico lives.
Or something similar to that. El Generico lives, or something like that. I know, probably something other than Sami Zayn. Who knows?
Let's first deal with the shoot aspects of this.
Okay.
Daniel Bryan has received full medical clearance from the WWE. As a part of this agreement, I've heard rumors that it'll be 60. He's going to work 60 dates. Now that he's been cleared.
Okay.
He obviously won't be wrestling all 60 dates, but one of the major things is after every match, Daniel Bryan will have to undergo full impact testing.
Yep.
With WWE doctors.
which I think is smart. Based on his history, they need to do something like that. And once again, as much as we can't stand sometimes what the WWE does,
they are right on with this.
This is something that should set precedents throughout the wrestling industry, period. That's Ring of Honor, New Japan, All Japan, Stardom, all of it.
I hope this is a protocol that will one day be extended to all wrestlers in WWE. Because every time you take a bump, there's a threat of a concussion. I'm sorry, that's how it is.
And Duke will attest to this.
Other aspect,
you know exactly who I'm talking about, yes. Right, there, Adam? Because he's training in his 30s to be a wrestler now.
Good on him.
And he says that he says 9 times out of 10 he'll hit a bump correct. There's always that one time, he says, and every time that he misses, he gets his bell rung. And he knows it.
And these days, you have to recognize it. And let me also address something. For all these conspiracy theories that the WWE is somehow going to clear Daniel Bryan just long enough to re-sign him and then shut him down again is laughable. And it's borderline Machiavellian of a way to describe the company. If you truly watch this product and think WWE is some version of Rasputin, some evil incarnate that's only mission is to screw its wrestlers, then you need to stop watching.
Yes.
That is a horrible way to watch this product. I'm not saying WWE is benevolent all the time.
Have you seen the shit WWE does?
I understand. But I'm also saying they are not 100% malevolent all the time.
Yeah, true.
They are not a malevolent actor.
No, with this whole concussion thing, WWE is, there's two sports in the world that are high impact. One is professional wrestling, and the other one is NFL football.
And collegiate football, for that matter.
And collegiate football, for that matter, correct? It's two sports. It's professional wrestling and football in general.
And, well, we could also say boxing, combat sports.
Any combat sport. Okay, we're splitting hairs here now.
Correct.
Okay. What WWE is doing with the concussion protocols that they got in place just for Daniel Bryan right now, it's something that all, impact sports should look at.
Yes.
That test that Daniel took that actually showed him that he had problems. And that was 2 years ago.
And let's understand. Dr. Robert Cantu recently came out and said, well, I did my testing, and it looked like that Mr. Danielson did not have any evidence of what even would be considered a prior brain injury.
Right. And this is the same doctor that told Daniel Bryan, dude, you need to retire after the test. This is the same doctor.
And I am not going to fault WWE for not messing around with concussions. Whether you think it was out of the goodness of their hearts or because they didn't want to get sued.
I think it's the latter. They didn't want to.
I think it's a combination of both.
Right.
Okay.
It's still the right call at the end of the day to force Daniel Bryan into retirement. And it's still the right call at the end of the day to allow him to come back if his medicals are correct and he's willing to undergo the testing that you set forth for him.
And you know what? Bryan Danielson is. If it means he can get back in the ring and compete, he'll do whatever it takes. Because that's how much he loves this business.
And by the way, if WWE doesn't re-sign Daniel Bryan,
it's a big mistake.
It will likely be a big mistake because as we transition from the shoot into the kayfabe part of this, Daniel Bryan, to me, is this generation's Austin.
Oh yeah.
They have connected to him in a way that they have not connected to anybody else, and it causes a lot of fans to have this blurry-eyed vision between what's real and what's not. If Daniel Bryan were for some reason not to resign this contract with WWE, can you imagine just the wails of fans coming down on WWE?
It'll be huge, number one.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of these fans also believe that Daniel Bryan works for a company that only views him as a B-plus player. So,
I think in that case, I think that's the version of Austin and McMahon, because the company thinks he's a B-plus player, and Bryan is, well, I'm proving that I'm not a B-plus player. So
Yes, he is now.
where's your argument in that?
Metal Matt, I understand your concerns, and I think that's why they have all these protocols in place for Daniel to protect him from himself, because Daniel Bryan has one gear in the ring, and that's 1,000 miles an hour.
yes. And it's going to take him a while, and he's taken the time in these 2 years to change his style enough. If you go back and look at those, during his comeback this week, he's still going 1,000 miles an hour. But when he hit those corner drop kicks, did everyone notice how he landed?
He was landing a lot different. Yes, he was.
He was landing on his sides, a lot like Ric Flair did after he broke his back.
Yep.
It's
And when he took the
same
buckle
thing.
bomb, he took it more on his shoulders than on actual, he took it more on his
He took that apron bomb on his back.
on his back. Yeah.
More so than he did.
They were so close to that rope, I thought he was going to hang his head on that rope.
And then if they did, they would have been fired.
But he really tucked his head in tight. I saw that. And I also noticed this, and I went back and looked at it later. Daniel Bryan was grinning in the ring while he was firing.
He was finally doing the thing he loved
Because he
to
knew
do.
what was coming. He knew he was getting a beatdown because that was all planned. He knew he was getting it, and he was so happy for it to come.
He was so happy that he had to brook it.
Go ahead, honey.
Also, I've noticed something too. Even when he was doing it, he did not try to do any of his high-risk maneuvers. That's one thing I think it's going to change. He's not going to be doing a lot of them high-risk maneuvers that he used to do.
If I see Daniel Bryan do another suicide dive through the middle ropes, then we're shutting the ride down again.
Okay.
No more suicide dives. No more headbutts.
No more headbutts.
You are now. I would prefer Daniel Bryan to adapt his style. He can still go 1,000 miles an hour, but I'd love to see him adapt to more of a style of a Zack Sabre Jr. or a Matt Riddle. The guy's an excellent technician.
Submission technician. So yeah, okay.
Grapple fuck with people.
But then he'll be boring like Natty.
Please, for the love of God, make it stop.
Well, that's what people will say. You will hear that from the Daniel Bryan smarks who say, "Oh, now they're making it be like Natalia. All he can do."
No, it's not going to be like Natalia. They're going to make him more like Bret Hart because he's going to be more of a technical wrestler.
But people
will say he's boring if he's doing nothing but technical mat wrestling, which we all know Daniel Bryan is good at. We all know this.
And right now, that's what he needs to be as a technical wrestler.
But he said the absolute right things a few weeks ago when he said he was trying to adapt a style a lot like Terry Funk and Jerry, to my mind, Jerry Lawler. Those guys were able to wrestle for as long as they did because they never put themselves in harm's way.
Really?
Isn't that
Terry,
almost
Terry later on got a little
muted.
Terry got how do we say crazy?
Yeah.
Terry Funk was at ECW doing freaking moonsaults off the top rope.
Right, but here's the thing.
At the age of 50, at the age of 60, he was doing moonsaults off the top rope.
But that was because, what we have to realize is that by that point, Terry was still in such good physical condition that he could do those things.
And look at him now.
Well, now it doesn't matter because
he can't walk. He's in a chair. He's in a wheelchair.
But what Terry and Lawler did, and the reason why they were able to wrestle for so long, is
Lawler's still wrestling.
Lawler is still wrestling because the way they take bumps, the bumps they take are not laborious to the body. That's what Daniel Bryan has to learn. He has to learn a new way to fall, a new way to take a bump, a new way to allow his body to absorb the shocks of the business in the ring.
Well, you look at how long Ric Flair wrestled.
Flair wrestled until he lost his fastball.
And that was even after having his back broke in a plane crash.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
But
he wrestled for what, another 35 years after he broke his back?
Yeah.
Yeah, thereabouts.
Yeah. And that's because he learned what it took to perform at that level and still be able to take that beating, but in a different way. And that's what Daniel's going to learn.
Nobody bled like Rick.
Nobody bled like Ric Flair.
Nobody bled like
Also,
Rick.
if you listen to Ric Flair also says a lot of people are better wrestlers than he was.
Right. But no one was able to put it together like he did.
No, that man, could you imagine him as think about this for a second, guys. Ric Flair having the book for WWE. Today.
I'd be all for it.
That would be, I mean, you want good wrestling matches? Let Rick book some matches for you.
With the caveat that he can't book the women's division.
No.
With the caveat. We need someone else to do that.
How does everyone feel about Daniel's first match coming back going to be a tag match with most likely Shane McMahon?
Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
Talk about underwhelming, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and if it's with Shane McMahon, it's going to be against Sammy and Kevin.
And I will say this about Sammy and Kevin both.
That I can see right now.
Oh, yeah, I see that match happening too. But here's one thing I can say about Kevin and Sammy both. They're two of the safest workers in WWE.
Unless they're working with each other.
Yeah, with each other.
Unless they're working with this.
When they're working with each other, they know each other so well, and they trust each other so much.
They do anything.
They'll do anything for each other. It's the same dynamic of what Triple H and Shawn Michaels had. After Shawn Michaels came back after all those years.
Yeah, okay, fair.
You know, I mean, those two put on some beautiful matches for a long time.
They knew what each other could do, but they knew each other's weaknesses where they could help support so they wouldn't get hurt.
I don't think there are two more safer guys that you could put Daniel in the ring with than Sammy and Kevin. But I will say the wild card in the whole thing is Shane.
Mr. No Punch, Mr. No Throw a Punch.
If you're going to potato somebody, at least just potato them.
Yeah, Mr. Potato Punch. Mr. Potato Punch? He'll potato a lot more punches.
My worry is Shane's going to do something stupid and Daniel's going to go, well, I can do that.
No. We don't need to see Daniel try a coast to coast. No.
No, because if you remember right, Daniel also says stuff later on that Shane is doing stuff he shouldn't do.
Right.
So he's not going to emulate Shane.
The only thing Shane's good for is falling off of high places.
Shane, don't go off the roller coaster again.
But you know what? I think we're going to get a decent match out of those guys. 15 minutes tops.
Yeah.
Decent. Because I'm more
10
surprised that
to 15 minutes would be perfect for those four.
because
Yeah, because right now you figure that's a match that's got to happen.
yeah,
Both,
and well,
both
and
of them are.
Go ahead,
sure,
hon.
go ahead.
You figure Shane as commissioner, ex-commissioner, whatever, and Daniel as general manager. Keep getting your asses beat.
Mhm.
It's a match that's got to happen between Sammy and Kevin.
But we all realize, and our good friends over at Two Guys One Sport brought this up.
Mhm.
Which one are you more excited for? Shane getting babyface heat or Shane being the hot tag?
Shane getting the babyface heat, of course.
Yes.
The hot tag, no.
Hot tag, I can't see Shane as a hot tag.
So, I mean, Daniel Bryan is going to obviously be the hot tag in the match.
Yep.
Yes.
Which means we're going to have to watch Shane McMahon try to sell like Ricky Morton.
Number one, and number two, we're gonna
He
have
can't.
to.
He
Well,
can't.
no, I know that, but you have to. And number one, number two, we're gonna have to see Shane McMahon do the best impression of Mr. Potato Punch again. This time with mashed potatoes instead of baked potatoes.
He is so. Can we be done with Shane, please?
Yeah.
Well, at least I'm gonna leave you guys with this. I'm more surprised that with all the middle management bullshit that we've been talking about with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon with these two guys, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, it's so surprising that one turn of Daniel Bryan cleared for wrestling changed the whole perspective of this story altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah, because before you, everybody was expecting Shane to get versus Daniel. And now you're going to get Shane and Daniel versus Kevin and Sammy.
Oh, not just that, because we practically shit on the whole storyline between middle management and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Yes.
Oh, they said that it's bad, it's worse, it's terrible, but then suddenly this happens, and ooh, okay.
Well, the thing about it was
It's
is that
still
go ahead. Go ahead.
It's still bad. But
Yes, it's still atrocious.
this has got to be something to. If they're going to do this, they got to make sure this is the end of it.
It will be because I think they're going to replace Shane on television now that he's an ex-commissioner, and now that Daniel's been cleared.
He's not. He's not an ex-commissioner. He's taken an indefinite leave of absence from being the commissioner. He never quit.
Also,
And-
I think what they're going to do is move Sammy and Kevin back to Raw.
I think they might. But I will say there are these rumors floating around about who might replace Shane as an on-screen authority figure.
And who's
Paige.
Not Paige,
Now Paige.
Oh,
Yeah.
good God.
but
Paige.
Mr. They broke this week that they are in talks about letting him come back to the company.
Oh, don't say Hulk Hogan.
no, no.
God, no.
Mr. Red and Yellow himself.
Oh, God, no, please.
There have been
Somebody
some
give me a rope.
I'm not giving you the rope.
They
There
should
have
give
been-
it to Ric Flair.
I would rather it be Ric Flair than
So
Hulk
would I.
Hogan.
So would I.
There has been some talk about potentially Hogan coming back.
Well, there've also been talks about ADR coming back, but I digress.
Why do you want to make me sad?
No, he's been there. He was at Titan Towers 2 weeks ago.
Why, so they can push him off the top?
I would love to see Vince push him off the roof.
Not just Vince. Not just Vince.
I
I
don't
would
know
like
if
to
that's a
see
thing
Triple
that's
H
going to
push him.
happen, but that is a
Damn you
rumor.
for
out there.
ruining Paige.
I'd like to see Paige move over as an authority figure. I think that'd be great. And I will say this: the best thing about Paige, the best thing out of a sad situation, the best thing about Paige being hurt, being forced onto the sideline, is that it has forced Sonya Deville to take a more active role. She's a star.
And somehow, I agree. Somehow she got it to work.
Well,
Amidst
here's
all the
another thing
chaos
with
and-
Sonya Deville too. You know, there's talk they had a group in with the writers, and I heard about it this week, just the other day, as a matter of fact, in one of the threads, that they've had representatives from the LGBTQ community to help the writers in writing gay storylines.
Here's the thing.
Hold on. But here's an issue I have. Here's an issue I have with it. Finn Balor is being looked at to be the gay character, and I'm like, no, you have one that is already in Sonya Deville. She came out on Tough Enough that she's lesbian. I don't have, let her be her. Let her be herself.
The
But they won't.
storyline is that she's gay. Let her be her, and don't let the fact that she is gay be the main focus. Let the main focus be she's an ass kicker.
That she is. And I see them building to, unfortunately, a match between her and Ronda over the MMA gimmick.
Please, God,
And
why?
Sonya is going to be put down as an MMA person because she was an amateur, whereas Ronda was a pro with UFC. That's what
we have nice things.
But the thing that you were bringing up about with Finn Balor, that's wrong because right now Finn is over with the fans the way he is. Don't change him that.
They're doing it. They got one male character down in NXT that they're doing a fantastic job with the overtones of homosexuality, and it is the Velveteen Dream.
And the best thing about that is that he's not acting like a homosexual.
No, but the overtones are there. The way he dresses, the way he carries himself.
It's all very subtle, but it's more a Prince knockoff than anything. But
yeah, true. But I mean,
but it's working.
It's working. You're right. It's working.
It's working, but I don't.
And you could see Patrick Clark. You could see the progression he made from when he first started as a Velveteen Dream to now. He has gotten more comfortable. Because at first he was very uncomfortable with it. It was almost forced. Now, as over time, you've seen him become comfortable to the point where he is like, "Yeah, this is my character."
Great, but
and he's owning it, which is great.
I just don't want to see asexuality being the focus of a storyline. You can do it in subtle. In a storyline, just because she's gay or just because she's gay or he's gay doesn't necessarily mean that should be the main focus. Number one, I agree with Adam. Number two, I don't want that to taint the first impression of a person. Oh, she's gay, then I should watch her. Oh, she's gay, I should not watch her.
Well, that's going to happen. The minute, I mean, we've had one other character in all of WWE history that was damn good at selling the gay side of things.
Goldust.
Exactly. You knew exactly where I was going. Goldust, when he had the.
But here's the thing, though, Taker.
He was wearing. They had him where he was wearing women's lingerie under his gear during the Attitude Era. We all saw him in a bra and panties, literally.
I had wiped that from my memory. Thank you very much. But now that you've said it,
they had him in a thong.
But here's the thing, though.
Go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
I just said, with Goldust, it wasn't just a bra and panties. You've seen him in a corset. You've seen him in a thong. Everything.
He was wearing G-string, for Christ's sake.
Yep.
But the great thing about Goldust was it was more androgyny than it was homosexuality.
That's not. It's more androgynous than homosexuality.
And my whole thing is
embracing the whole.
What made it more believable is you look at what Goldust when he first come out. His wife was his manager. She was the one that seemed to be more masculine.
Marlena.
Yeah. She was the masculine one. It worked.
Yeah.
My whole thing about this whole thing is, though, I don't know if I'm at a place where I can still trust this company to handle those issues. Go
ahead, MDS. Go ahead.
I stand by Adam with that one. I mean, I don't trust WWE to properly handle storylines based on sexuality or sexual openness and whatnot.
No, I don't either.
Neither do I.
If they wanted to run a lesbian storyline with Sonya Deville, they need to scale back about how much of that focuses on them as lesbians rather than them as workers.
Mhm.
And the same can be said for a gay storyline. One of the reasons why the Billy and Chuck thing didn't work is because it was 100% right up in your face with it. And you kind of forgot that Billy and Chuck were good workers.
Yeah, that's the thing. It has to be done subtly.
Subtly and slowly.
Yes, because even now, and I'll tell you this, I know a lot of people from that community, and they're some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Okay, they know their own. They stay away from those that are not. They're friendly to you. They're nice to you. They may have their thoughts, as does anyone. And I've had some share their thoughts with me, and I'm like, well, they go, but we know you're not. We don't have a problem with it. I mean, I could call, there were quite a few of them that actually told me, I'm a flaming queen, and if you want to call me a flaming queen, you can. And I did.
Well, look at some of them that we knew. Some of them they were actually trying to talk me into going the other way.
Yeah. At one point, that was happening. But that's a whole...
The thing that they were doing, they're talking about bringing Finn Balor. A reason I say no also because it would also kill his other character.
Yes.
If you're going to do that with the sexuality, you're going to kill the demon.
Number one, and number two, Finn Balor's character isn't really geared up or tuned up to being a gay persona. No,
because when he gets mad or when he gets going, he brings out the demon. Can you see him going from the sexuality part to the demon?
No,
it's not going to work.
Well, it could work, but I wonder how people would be receptive to it.
I don't think they'll be.
I think the fan base Finn Balor's got now would actually dwindle.
My whole thing, and we can get off the LGBT topic and this whole thing, and move over to AJ Knack. But I will say, I think we are coming to a time where these storylines will be on television.
True. That's
whether or not we think the company is ready for it. I just hope that if they go down that road, we're putting the people in the best positions to succeed.
I agree.
I mean,
the last one they did.
Billy and Chuck won the tag titles, if everyone remembers correctly. They had success. They did kind of get over. But they were presented in a way that was supposed to make us as fans feel uncomfortable with their presentation of homosexuality.
Well, remember, we had a gay, and we're going to end it here. We had an openly gay man that was wrestling for WWE, but got severely hurt. Darren
Young. Darren Young's problem was that he wasn't very good.
No, he was a good worker. He worked his ass off in the ring. Regardless, his ring work was great. He was terrible on the mic, but in ring, when him and Titus O'Neil were together, I mean, those two worked their asses off together.
Yes,
just like Apollo Crews and Titus are doing now. They are good workers, both of them. Titus is a great worker. Titus is also good on the mic.
I could see the WWE Universe being ready for it, but I don't think the company is.
Yes.
The company does not know how to promote certain things. I mean, you figure looking at our society today, we accept a lot of things. So yeah, the fan base would be up for it if it's done right, but I don't believe WWE can do it right.
And it's funny that you say that because we saw them. Does anyone remember them promoting Pat Patterson's book?
They did. I remember.
Did they was there ever really a campaign about it?
No, it's not really a campaign.
They didn't really get behind Pat's book.
Mm-hmm.
No, and
it's not really a campaign. It's more like a drive or something like that, I think.
What I'm worried about the WWE doing with it, instead of being subtle and trying to be, the subtle nuance of them them instead trying to force feed it to us, and that is what's going to turn fans off.
Yes, and that's what they did. That's what they did with Billy and Chuck. They
exactly. We don't need another Billy and Chuck incident.
Who cares?
Well, number one, and number two. Please don't forget, Paige has been fed like that too.
Yes, they have. They've presented Paige like that. They've presented Mickey James like that. They've always done it in ways to make and I'll shut up after this.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go to AJ Knock.
Hey guys, I'm just gonna say this real quick because I gotta go. It was great to be here.
Okay.
Yeah, now I gotta get ready to get to work. So I'm gonna say goodbye right here.
Okay.
All right.
Later.
Bye guys. Take care.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
But now, like I said, I'll shut up here. They have a bad habit of presenting the sexuality side of it.
They have a bad reputation of
But as I said, let us move on.
Okay.
To the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Fine.
And Shinsuke Nakamura.
Fine. Let's do that.
What's this feud again?
Nothing. Just two good wrestlers wrestling against one another for the title.
Is this whole feud? Hey, we wrestled each other once before in a company we're not allowed to talk about, but now we're going to do it at WrestleMania, so yay.
Yeah. I think that's about it.
All right. Hey.
Adam, you have to think of it like this. This is the dream match all the Smarks are wanting to ever since AJ got signed and Nakamura got signed.
This is a match that I went back on YouTube and found bits and pieces of from NJPW, and it's like, oh my God. I hope the WWE lets those two guys book their own match.
Oh, they should. They should let AJ and Shinsuke do what they allowed AJ and Finn to do at the pay-per-view when they had to do that on last minute. Because that was an NJPW match.
Yes, it was, and it was a great match. It was an absolute fantastic match.
Let these two guys go out and lay out their match because we know they can do it.
And they've worked together before.
But
you don't hear much talk about it. But it'll be a good fight. But I'm worried that they're going to get somebody like Michael Hayes or Bryan James, Road Dogg, booking the match for and overbooking the shit out of it.
Okay, and what were you saying? What you can say?
But the fact that this is a dream match that we've already had, the build to it and the feud of it has been so completely lackluster that I'm thankful with these two guys, because if they did this build with anybody else, we wouldn't want to talk about it.
Well, I mean, the build is different because they're both faces. We're not having, and this is the thing that is.
I'll argue on that.
All right, you're going to argue on that how?
AJ Styles is a heel here.
But he's not doing the heelish things towards Shinsuke.
No, not blatantly.
AJ's telling the first time that Nakamura saved him, the time that Nakamura saved him. AJ's telling him he didn't need his help. He goes, I'm going to be here to protect our match.
Of course, but then again, watch Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev last week. What did AJ Styles do?
He took his time, but it's the same thing Nakamura did. He took his time, took his vest off. He didn't. He made it into the ring. Whereas Shinsuke overcame those two by himself, and he said, I didn't need your help. So if anybody's the heel here and doing heelish things, it's Nakamura. But it's subtle.
Nakamura coming up all the time and saying, I'm going to knee you in the face. While funny, isn't exactly enthralling promo work.
Isn't exactly, because of language limitations, of course.
Here's the thing. I've heard Nakamura speak English. He doesn't have language limitations. The man can cut a promo in English. What he cannot do is cut a 15-minute WWE promo.
Oh, right. That I can agree as well.
And he don't need to.
I mean, here's the thing, though, because
I'm seeing this. All Nakamura has to say in any promo is I do most of my talking when I'm in the ring, when I'm in the ring competing, because that's his thing. He is a great storyteller in the ring. If he shows up to work, that is another thing. Because
I'm not worried about that with AJ.
I'm not worried about that at all.
I'm not either. I mean, against Rusev, he didn't phone it in.
Well, because he knew AJ was down the line.
I think that had nothing to do with it. Even at the match they had at the Fastlane.
I wonder.
Nakamura was not mailing it in with Rusev. He was working.
My thing is, if you're going to take the belt off AJ, okay, I'm cool with that. Let's not let Nak have a run.
Mm-hmm.
Who is he wrestling down the line that's going to keep those fires up for him? Or is the belt?
We'll have a rematch for the title between AJ and Nak if Nakamura wins it. We'll have that.
Right.
Then we got Rusev.
Then we got Orton.
We got Orton, who those two will probably work good together. Got John Cena, the free agent, which Nakamura has already worked with, and they had a good match. So there's 4 more matches right there. 4 more pay-per-view matches.
Okay. Although him and Randy don't.
Yeah, him and Randy won't. Whoa!
Their match. They had a match. Didn't they have a match? Randy and Shinsuke, and they worked. Both of them worked. Because Nakamura pulled it out of them.
Yeah, I'll argue with it because these two have different contrasting styles, so should have put on a good match. And Orton is a pair of veteran hands, so he could show. Argument may be invalid because Nakamura is also a veteran hand. So.
And I figure he's probably going to go feud with someone who comes over from Raw,
or someone who comes over from NXT. Who knows?
Oh yeah, how about this? Ooh, I just had a thought because we know there's going to be some call-ups. Andrade Cien Almas with Nakamura.
That could be fire.
That could be fun.
That could be fun.
Drew McIntyre with Nakamura. That also could be a lot of fun.
That could be fun.
Isn't he coming off injury?
Who?
Yeah, McIntyre is.
Mm-hmm.
Torn tricep, I think it was.
Typically, guys come back off injury as baby faces, but I could see that work.
Babyface with a babyface. Hey, it worked.
Sami
Zayn versus Nakamura.
Yeah, it did.
Sami Zayn versus Nakamura.
Fight forever.
No. Sami Zayn versus Nakamura for the title.
I think we're good. I mean, with Nak having the belt for a few months, there's going to be a shakeup, obviously, so we'll see what happens after that. But I'm excited for it. I just think the build is a little lackluster. That's all.
Yeah, true. I mean, I can't argue against that because if this was any other generic main eventer versus main eventer with no build, we'd actually shit on it. That wouldn't be surprising. But this is Nakamura and AJ. I don't know. I think we're covered in rose-tinted glasses, though, Adam.
We probably are. But, as I want to turn my focus away to two other things, SmackDown related. Which one are you... Well, okay, that's a stupid question. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We have, on one hand, we're going to get the Usos and the New Day for the 50th time.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, we're going to have a triple threat for the United States Championship that I don't want at all.
Okay.
Why is Randy Orton the United States Champion again?
Why does Randy Orton want to be the United States Champion again? Because that's the only title that he hasn't gotten yet.
No. Isn't he champion?
I think so. I might be wrong. Let me just do some looking real quick. And He is. Yep. Oh, he's just a one time. He's the current champion.
Yes.
This is his.
Hopefully he won't go AWOL on the title like he did the Marines.
You had to put it in there, didn't you?
Had to put what in there? Like I said, I had to step away.
Yeah, I know. We were just talking about Randy Orton being U.S. champion and how I hope he doesn't go AWOL on the title like he did the Marines.
You had to put it in there, didn't you?
Oh, thanks a lot. It's not, and the thing about it is, it's not. See, AWOL is an Army term,
right? But it's just an easier phrase.
Corps, and you're talking to someone who was in the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps calls it UA. Unauthorized absence.
Unauthorized absence, yeah. Unauthorized absence. There you go.
That's true. AWOL is a more familiar phrase.
Yeah, for us non-militarized knowledge. But hey, like I said,
MDS, you knew exactly what I was talking about, so don't give me that crap.
My thing with this whole
we still have a base in Okinawa, damn it.
I know that, but
more than just a bit.
But you and I have been talking about this for about what, almost 6-7 months now about you being a Marine. Adam doesn't know yet.
Adam knows.
I know.
Okay, so rag on him. Don't rag on
me. He works for the federal government. He definitely has to know.
I have to pay attention to some things.
Yeah. But okay,
my thing with this whole triple threat is I don't care who wins. I don't particularly care about the belt.
Okay.
Maybe they slide it over to gender and let.
Oh God! We're gonna have a nuclear meltdown again in the threads if that happens.
Well, at least if you put the belt with gender, there are ways you can go with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it needs to go back to Rude. Orton retaining does nothing.
Well, other than the fact that you have a veteran hand holding the title, but that doesn't really count for anything.
Well, no, let's put it this way: the only thing it would do is if Orton retained, is solidify his Grand Slam status.
Because this is his first time holding the United States Championship.
Yeah, he's held all 4 major titles with the company.
My thing is, what Orton was already a made guy.
Uh-huh.
He's been at it for 16 years.
Yeah, he's
for
been
about
there
there and thereabout.
He's coming to the end of his road because I know he really doesn't want to do it anymore.
Okay.
He's banked his money. Why keep the belt? Let me put it to you like this. If Orton keeps the belt, who do you want to see take the belt off for?
On this one, I don't know.
Feud? Where is that feud? Where is that next person down the line for Orton?
I'd say Ty Dillinger. I don't know.
No, Ty Dillinger, no. I got one that's really going to cause up an uproar.
Wahoo.
Mojo Rawley.
Oh, they burned the bridges down so hard for Mojo Rawley. They need to rebuild him back.
I could see it being Mojo, but who's working babyface?
There you go. That's another question.
But you could still have, if we're having face versus face for the WWE title, why can't later on? Why can't we have heel versus heel for a U.S. title?
Because the fans are going to want someone to cheer, and granted, they're always going to cheer the RKO.
Yep.
Orton is just better as a heel, and I like what Mojo's doing as a heel, but I don't want to see face versus face followed up with heel versus heel so quickly. Heel versus heel is always harder because someone has to be the sympathetic one. Neither of these guys are sympathetic.
No.
Oh, no. That's agreeable.
So maybe if the Usos retain at Mania, have Big E and Orton feud for the title?
Okay.
You have to do something with the New Day on a singles level. They can't be together forever.
Well, they can. Just that, I see your point because these guys are these guys came up as singles wrestlers, then suddenly got lumped together to become the New Day, which initially didn't work, but then again, soon after they made it work.
And hey,
So
maybe it's an NXT call up, like maybe one Johnny Gargano.
Johnny Gargano is going to be busy knocking teeth off of Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah, they're going to have that. That's going to be a big. That's going to be a big blow off at Takeover.
Well, yeah, that's going to be a takeover. But I'm saying, where does Orton go if he wins the match of Mania? That's my thing.
I have an idea. Rather than Johnny Gargano, Ethan Carter III.
Yeah,
he just opened his case and was fired from
TNA, and he has already. He spoiler alert for those who have not seen NXT. So if you have not seen NXT or have been down the road,
he's already signed. He's already signed.
He's already signed, and he has made his debut. Spoiler alert. He has been on NXT.
Same with Ricochet.
Yeah.
I don't think you can put EC3 up on the main product that soon.
Not soon. Okay.
He was Chris Masters at one point, wasn't he?
No, Masters is someone else.
He's Derek Bateman in NXT back then.
Okay.
Back then,
if you have the network, go back and watch some of the earlier seasons of NXT when they tried to do it as like a reality show. And Derek Bateman, I think, wasn't he paired with Daniel Bryan?
Yes, he did.
They were paired together, and that's EC3.
Back then, EC3 had curly hair.
And was not as much on the roids.
and was not much on the roids. He was leaner.
But I'm thinking, so that's my whole point. If you're going to go with Orton, you better have someone ready to go to follow up with him. If not, I think there are much easier paths.
I mean, Adam.
Oh God, please, not Adam Cole, because
no. I'm just saying. But
you said something. You have said something about him. Fizz said it too.
No, I'm not saying anything about Adam Cole. I was mentioning Adam Rice, not Adam Cole.
No, I'm saying Adam Cole for one simple reason. You talk about him being Mr. Mediocre and all that stuff, right? And then earlier this week, I think it was Thursday. Yeah, because I was off on Wednesday. I watched later NXT. After what, I fell asleep during the Adam Cole match. And I woke up, NXT was, the one I was watching, the replay was over. And I was like, to hell with this, I'm going to bed. I fell asleep when the Adam Cole match started. And he was going against Aleister Black, for God's sake.
Well, this week you went up against Cassius Ohno.
All right, Cassius Ohno. I fell asleep right before, just as Adam Cole, baby, was walking out. I was like, oh, hell no. And I sat there and all of a sudden.
There's a name that people aren't talking about as a possible call-up, and we might see.
Ono? No. Ono is going to be relegated to Perpetual Carpenter in NXT. We're never going to see. We are not going to see the Chris Hero type Cassius Ohno come on. We're not going to see the Chris Hero type.
I think
he's a damn good carpenter, though.
Are we? Where do you guys want to go? Do you want to stick on SmackDown? Do you want to go to NXT?
The only thing I want to talk about now from SmackDown is the women's title match that we briefly touched on earlier.
Charlotte and Asuka.
Because Charlotte and Asuka, and everybody's like, "Oh, there's another face versus face dynamic." Yeah, and so what? You got the two best women right now, and I'm telling you, since Charlotte came up, the Charlotte Flair that came up 3 years ago to the Charlotte Flair we have now, is a monumental change. Her in-ring skills are, she's not plodding around anymore. There's more flow to her matches. There's more free flowing.
She has found her rhythm.
Yes,
she does,
and she sells like her father. God, that woman can sell. If Rick taught her anything, he taught her how to sell properly.
I just wish she had better command of the mic.
That'll take time. Rick was not always great on the mic.
True,
It took him a lot of years to get the quote unquote Ric Flair style that he had. It took him years. He was using catchphrases before catchphrases were popular.
And I think what we're seeing is Charlotte also is a little bit of a charisma vacuum, just a little bit.
Yeah, she's not as much of a charisma vacuum as she once was.
Right.
It's starting. She's starting to be more charismatic, but in subtle ways. Where her father was overly boisterous and loud, she's not.
No, but that plays almost greatly with Asuka, who is overtly loud and boisterous with her movements. Not
just her movements. Even her gear is loud.
Yeah,
it's an antithesis to what Charlotte is. Even
she's the antithesis to Charlotte. Charlotte is very subtle, whereas Asuka is over the top loud with the gear and the hair and the robe that's made from pieces of skin of every victim she's ever defeated in WWE. Hey now what? Hey now. That's what MBS is doing. He's the one who said that initially. I'm just stealing it from him.
I didn't say it this week. He said it this week.
No,
you
said it last week.
I said it last week. He wouldn't hear last week. You wouldn't hear last week.
I'm keeping these two away from each other till Mania.
Okay.
I don't need them to be on screen together. I don't.
Which is good.
Keep them away. Let them come together at Mania. And let's give them 20 minutes.
Yes.
They both can do it.
Oh, they both can.
Charlotte has the stamina and
stamina.
Cardio.
She's got the stamina and cardio of her father, who used to be able to go a freaking hour to a draw, a 1 hour Broadway with the top face of the company when he was NWA champion, going from territory to territory.
And if I'm Asuka, I'm reverting back a little bit to my NXT style, which is a little bit harder. Hit it.
No, I say go back to the Japanese style that she had as Kana.
Well, did you say this one had to literally rip Charlotte's arm out of her head? I mean,
yeah, I want to see the Kana face paint under the mask. The complete.
Basically, Taker, you literally want to see Asuka rip the hair off from Charlotte, and then paste it on the kimono that she has, just at that spot where she reserved it for Charlotte. This is the spot.
Yeah, I want to see Asuka snatch Charlotte bald.
Adam, like I said, blame him.
I already do.
Like I said, blame him.
I'm trying to get a rise out of Adam, and it's working.
I did everything from this match. I wanted it to be a brawl. I want it to be hard hitting. I want some technical action in there too, because they're both good at it. But at the end of the day, Asuka has to leave champion. Has to.
I'll agree.
Because
the more
I do not want to see the fans have the reaction that they gave after Charlotte had her streak. That they sacrificed Asuka's to Charlotte's. Just so the build, but more on Charlotte. Charlotte has to take a black eye here. Because it gets Charlotte away from the title scene. She can always use. She's been in it so much.
And she can always re-enter the whole title scene back again if she wants to. If creative wants her to. So, yeah.
And it makes Asuka a bona fide star.
Oh, yeah.
Having the streak, having the title. And then I want to see them prepare themselves, someone to come along and beat Asuka.
I'd hate to ring the bell, but if I say this, someone would get really excited.
Well, he's muted right now, but go ahead.
No, not him. Someone we know is gonna get super excited if I say this.
Do you want Becky to beat Asuka?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It would give something to Becky.
Yeah, because number one, I see this. Becky hasn't won anything for more than a year. She
No.
hasn't won anything for more than a year, and her feud's been as much as she is an uber babyface.
You must be talking about
Her-
Becky Lynch.
Oh,
Yeah,
how'd you know?
How'd you know?
Uber babyface who needs to backstab Charlotte's ass.
No, I'm not saying backstabbing Charlotte's ass. No.
Our good friend Senju-san is suggesting that after sometime after Asuka wins and has the belt and the streak, that the person who should beat Asuka is Becky Lynch.
I would agree with that. I could live with it.
Because
But we would need Becky. We would need Becky. Here again, Matt. You're gonna hate me.
She has to turn.
Metal Matt is gonna hate me. I might as well change my handle to he hate me.
This isn't the XFL, sir.
This isn't the XFL, sir.
But Becky needs to go down the dark path.
Yes, it's her own. It's a story.
It's the same thing we have to do with Bayley.
Yes,
Bayley and Becky both. And yes, I know there's another guy out there who has said that you turn Sami Zayn, Bayley, and Becky Lynch, all three of them heel in 1 year. It's basically telling everybody you have to be a bad person to get ahead in life.
Well, unfortunately, you have to be a bad person to get ahead in this company.
Exactly.
Really? Huh.
You have to go down the dark side of you have to be on the dark side of the moon to get ahead in this company because they seem to book heels a hell of a lot better than they do faces.
It's not so much that you've taken away. That's the whole thing about wrestling. It needs to be cyclical. If you're going to turn people heel, you have to have people heels ready to turn babyface, or people ready to come up and be baby faces. If you're going to turn Becky heel, turn Ruby or Sarah face.
Ruby's package, Ruby Riot is 100% better as a face than she is
a heel.
A heel. She's 100 times better.
And Sarah Logan is a baby face to me.
Sonya Deville would be a better baby face than heel.
You need to have it can't all just be characters in a box, and you just move characters from one side of the box to the other. It needs to be cyclical.
But then there's always a person like Natty, who's had more turns than Big Show has.
Natty's just a hand at this point. I'm sorry. Whether she's heel or babyface has no effect on me. Because she's there to get people over.
Hell, Naomi could be a hell of a heel. We've seen it.
I'd love to see a heel Naomi.
She did it when she was with Team Bad, and it was great.
I'd like to see that. Things need to start moving in a cycle. And with Asuka coming in, she's going to have the strap and she's going to have the streak. And that's going to make somebody.
When the streak is finally taken from Asuka, that is going to make someone's career.
And whether that is further cementing Becky Lynch or putting the feather in the cap of a Ruby Riot.
Giving it to Bayley.
Giving it to Bayley in some way.
I mean, think about it.
Ember Moon
think about it. They had a great story going. It was a subtle story, if you remember right.
Back in NXT.
No, not only in NXT. Here on the roster, it was something that was toyed at right after Asuka won the Royal Rumble match. Sasha had a match right at the Royal Rumble with Asuka and lost. And got nothing from Asuka.
Right. And
Asuka had a match. Asuka and Bayley had a match. Asuka shook Bayley's hand after the match.
That sign of respect. Which plays into...
There was that shows that Asuka had more respect for Sasha for Bayley than she did for Sasha.
Well, okay. That's an argument for Becky turning heel. What if Becky doesn't turn heel and Asuka starts showing heel tendencies?
Then someone
like back in NXT.
Someone would either need to be called up or turned face, which is again Hello, Ruby Riott.
Yeah.
You
I
can
would,
bring
love
up
to see, I would
Ember
love to see Ruby Riott turn on Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan.
because Liv. I will say this about Liv Morgan.
She's good
Okay.
as a heel. She's good at it.
She's fun as a heel.
Mhm.
She's not that great in the ring,
Mhm.
but she is one of the most underrated follows on Twitter.
Oh.
That girl is random
Yes.
and it's funny.
Oh yeah,
She is hysterical.
Sarah Logan ain't
Has
bad
a
on
good-
Twitter either.
No, they have good Twitter games.
She
Yeah,
she has a good sense of humor. She has a good sense of humor, and she has good Twitter
But
games, good
we're-
Instagram games. So yeah.
You need to do something. Figure out what to. First, you need to work with the pieces that you have. Yes, but just because they have those pieces doesn't mean they have to be static. So,
You know,
if
and the thing-
Asuka's
with Becky and Bayley for that matter, both of them have been heels in their indie runs. So it's not that they're untested as heels. They're untested as heels in WWE.
and I think
Both Becky and Bayley in NXT were heels at one point.
Becky was.
Yeah,
Bayley was.
Bayley's ever been a heel.
No,
Bayley
she's
was
never been-
initially.
she's
Bayley was initially.
initially, but it
She's a-
didn't work.
We kind of coasted over because it happened so fast. I
Mhm.
think just for a week or so. I think.
Week or 2 weeks.
They have to figure out because here's like I said, Asuka's leaving Mania with the belt.
hmm
It's the same thing you had with if you go with Orton in the triple threat. Who's in next in line? You're going to get a rematch with Charlotte, yes. Who's after that? Is it Naomi? Is it a face or heel Becky? Is it
No, I
Ruby?
know who. I know who. Ooh, I know who.
Yes,
Go ahead.
TM.
Lana.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate everything. I have an unsharpened pencil sitting next to me, and I want to jam it in my eye.
Rather, you had to jam it in your ear because you said.
No, I still want to be able to hear people say stupid shit around me.
I mean, but you know that's the thought that's going around. You know it is. Oh, we just put Lana in there.
Why?
Why not? She had 3
Because it
matches
makes me
only
sad.
for the title.
That's true.
She's the only person who hasn't really held a title, or anything for that matter.
And then that's the other thing about SmackDown. Everybody has to stop being special in SmackDown.
That's the thing, and that's the problem. MDS, you and I brought this up last week. I think it was with that SmackDown has the most solid tag team division going right now.
Mhm.
Why? The man in charge of creative is Brian James, a tag team wrestler,
A specialist.
a specialist. He knows how to book the shit out of tag team matches.
He
Can't
can't
book,
book anything
but can't
else.
book a solo match to save his ass. Can't book a singles match to save his ass.
Did you happen to catch that thing with him?
And we brought it up. We brought it up that we need Ghetto for the singles matches here in WWE, and Road Dogg for the tag teams. And oh my God, what kind of matches we would have!
I mean, the only thing that's been a problem for SmackDown is that, especially for the women's division, because everyone there is important. Everyone there is special.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's the problem. You've made everybody special where none of them are special.
None of them are important anymore because you have Becky, who's uber as a babyface. You have Charlotte, the champion, of course. She's the champion. You have Naomi, who's over as the face as well. And then we go down to the card. We have Natalia, who's a carpenter, but she's a heel. Still, she's a special.
Carmella's a case holder who's a heel.
Again, she's a special case because she holds the Money in the Bank contract. What?
We got Riot, Logan, and Liv Morgan as heels that don't
even
fit.
Even though they don't fit, they're still special because I almost puked.
Well, the thing with the Riot Squad is they're still kind of DOA.
Yeah. There's
And
a kind
they've
of,
done
but
nothing to fix it.
They're a heat vacuum. They're not getting any. They're not getting any heel heat. The only one that gets heel heat is Carmella.
Not just because people miss Ellsworth.
that's true.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
Speaking
God,
of Ellsworth, I just have to
Mhm.
bring it up.
Okay, go ahead.
Did everyone see the promo video?
Oh yes, I did.
Joey Janela's spring break. It'll be James Ellsworth,
Versus
Matt Riddle.
yes. I mean, he already
And
faced.
a funeral arrangements will be made. Funeral arrangements have already been made.
Mhm.
And James Ellsworth will be
Well,
put
there's
to
not going
rest.
to be enough of James Ellsworth to bury, so you might as well cremate him.
And no
Well,
shit.
yeah, because he's already been buried. Because last time he had to face Nick Aldis, formerly known as Magnus in TNA.
Yeah, and he got his ass destroyed. I saw that match, and he got his ass destroyed.
Yeah, so he got buried, and then people resurrect him again. And then, okay, enjoy Janelle's special. You have to face Matt Riddle. Good luck.
I loved Matt Riddle's promo. He's just so incredulous, and do I really have to do this? And
Yeah, do I really have to do this? I have to beat James Ellsworth, this guy, the man with 2 hands.
Yeah, the man with
Any
two,
man with
any
two
man with 2 hands can win.
no, you can't. There are limits.
Yeah, he's got 2 hands, but no chin.
Unless you have Braun Strowman hands, then yes, then no.
And
Unless you can,
so I hope that works out for Ellsworth. It probably
for what
won't.
it's. After the burial, I think he's going to be cremated.
I see Riddle murder death killing him.
MDK
As-
is done.
As if that's any other foregone conclusion.
And I guess since we've segued a little bit, let's talk about the final
Should we?
inductee
Oh,
of the WWE Hall of Fame
uh-huh.
for this
Mr. Hall of Pain himself.
Mark Henry getting his just reward.
Yes, this is a man, and if I'm not mistaken, let's see, of people of color, African Americans in the WWE Hall of Fame, we have Sylvester Ritter.
JYD.
That's JYD, Sylvester Ritter, JYD, Ernie Ladd, Abdullah the Butcher,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Ron Simmons. I think that's it.
Rocky's dad.
Oh, that's right, Rocky Johnson.
And
See, and this year we have Jacqueline going in,
yep.
and we have Mark Henry going in. So that's a grand total of 6.
No, Jacqueline went in last year.
Okay, excuse me. Yeah, Jacqueline's already in. So with Mark Henry going in, that'll be a grand total of 6.
Do you want to include the legacy inductees or no?
No,
Well, the
I don't-
legacy inductees we can that was Sailor Art Thomas, and I don't remember the whole list.
I'll have to look again. Yeah, but there are a couple more from there.
there's 2 wrestlers that should be put in on the legacy, and I have been lobbying for this for the last 3 or 4 years now,
Mhm.
and that's Dick the Bruiser, and
And he's finally in.
the Crusher, Terry
I think
Lasowski.
You
Those
can put them
2,
in,
they need to go in legacy.
need to
As
go.
legacy.
but let me quickly say about Mark Henry.
Okay, go
If
ahead.
there was ever a guy who they booked so wrong, but still managed to get it right at the end,
Uh-huh.
it's Mark Henry. Go back and look at his entire time in WWE. When he first came in as a rookie, he was given a massive contract when he was coming out of the Olympics.
Mhm.
They were paying him a lot of money.
He was the first $1 million wrestler they signed.
Yes. And this was coming off of the Olympics.
That's the only reason why.
Yep.
He was making more money than Angle was.
Oh, interesting.
And they did not know what to do with him. And he didn't know what to do with himself.
The sexual chocolate thing worked.
But that came later.
Yeah,
They-
but the one of the greatest scenes that he ever did.
was him and May.
No,
Yes.
no.
Him and May were awesome.
Don't forget the transvestite scene.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that.
And the thing about it is that, and Mark Henry has publicly stated he was 100% comfortable with the whole thing. He said, he was the person involved knew that he didn't go that way, but they played the role, and it worked. He said it got over, and it did.
You did. The great thing about Mark, they sent Mark down to OVW to work down there. And it was down there. He had a hard time dealing with the locker room, coming from where he came from, coming into professional wrestling. But by the time he left OVW, I heard Cornette tell the story, he ended up buying an air conditioner for the locker room. So they could be comfortable in the back. That
man, and I'm sorry to cut you off a little bit, Adam, but that man, Mark Henry, the man, has given so much to his fellow members of the locker room on all levels.
They sent him down. I heard the story. They sent him down to OVW because they wanted him to lose weight. He dropped like 50 pounds. He got down to sub 400 pounds. And he was doing monkey flips in his matches.
Okay.
That's how athletic this guy was. He's such a gifted athlete. Then when he went back up, they told him to put weight back on because they were going to send him to the Arnold Classic to compete in the World's Strongest Man competitions. They never knew what to do with him until they finally decided to make him a big ass kicker. And that's when he got his Hall of Pain run, which is one of the single greatest late career runs ever in WWE. They finally decided to make Mark Henry what he should have always been. And that's just an ass kicker. He will never get the credit he deserves for being as good as he was. I don't know who's going to induct him. I'd love to see it being one of the Nation guys. Whether it be Farouk, whether it be D-Lo or the Godfather. Maybe they can convince The Rock to come back and induct him. But I know who I think it's going to be. Braun Strowman.
Who's going to put him in?
Well, yes, because Mark Henry discovered Braun Strowman. Mark is the guy who brought him into the company.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
So I think we're going to see Braun induct Mark. But whoever it is, it really doesn't matter because he is one of the most deserving people ever to go into the Hall of Fame. And when you stand back and look at this Hall of Fame class, this Hall of Fame class is filled with possibly some of the nicest people, save for, I mean, I've heard some horror stories about Bubba Ray Dudley, but...
Oh, that's right. And Devon's going in, too.
Right. The Dudleys are going in.
The Dudleys are going in, yeah.
You know, the one thing that's cool that I'm really liking above all else is that the Warrior Award is going to a kid who's been on a roll as of late.
Yeah.
Jarius Robinson, JJ.
I saw he got
the Jim Valvano Award.
Yes.
The ESPYs this year. And now he's getting this. I mean, this kid, 15 years old, he's more celebrity than most celebrities.
He's probably more famous than most of the wrestlers.
He is.
But like I was saying, this might be the nicest group of people when it comes to professional wrestling to ever go into the Hall of Fame. Goldberg, I hear, is a good guy. Ivory, I heard, is a sweetheart. Hillbilly Jim, the same.
Hillbilly Jim had a damn radio show on Sirius XM radio.
I know Jeff Jarrett has had his issues with bad booking and alcoholism and
drug abuse and
politics.
And the thing about it is that Vince is still open to having him back.
But I have not heard anything bad about Jeff the person.
Yeah.
Jeff the person is a great guy. I've met the man.
So this might be, as far as professional wrestling goes, a business with a lot of dirt bags, con artists,
Carnies.
carnies, and then that's just talking about the McMahons.
Okay.
This might be the nicest group of people ever to go into the Hall of Fame. And that should count for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a good year, folks.
I mean, this is, some of the, they've got a widespread group going in. You got people from before the Attitude Era. You've got Attitude Era folks. You've got Ruthless Aggression folks. And you've got people that have been with the companies during the Attitude Era all the way up to the Reality Era with Mark Henry.
There's something for everybody this year.
Yep. There's something for everybody.
And you know what? If that's a good year. That's a good year. If you can get that for the Hall of Fame, that's a good year.
And that's why I said it. That's why and I've said it. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. I'm excited for this WrestleMania weekend coming up next week. It is going to be. This show is going to be awesome. We were talking earlier about the Asuka Charlotte match. I want to hear the "This is awesome" chants before the match even starts. I want to hear the "Fight Forever" chants start up while the match is going on with those two. Just like we got with Sami and Nakamura when it was the NXT takeover in Dallas. People were chanting "Fight Forever" because that match was solid.
I hope from Friday to Sunday to Monday
to Tuesday. You got Friday, you got the Hall of Fame. Saturday, takeovers. Sunday, WrestleMania. Monday, we have Raw. And then Tuesday, we have SmackDown.
And not to mention all of the independent events.
Yep.
Going around
WrestleMania. Friend of the show, George, from Two Guys, One Sport, is going to be attending one of the independent shows.
Yes.
And as far as I know, he's gotten himself his recording device, and he's going to try to get some interviews for his show.
I hope that works out. I know, speaking of our friend George, did everyone see that AAW is now signed a deal with Twitch?
Yep, they did.
With who?
With Twitch. I saw that. Yes. So now one of the major independents will now be able to be viewed for everybody to see. So if you are so inclined, please go check out AAW.
I hear it's great.
Another piece of housekeeping. A major tag team debuted this past week in NXT on the Coconut Loop. They go by the name of War Machine. Has finally made their NXT debuts.
Oh, wow. War Machine. And they're using the same name or they're using something different?
They came out as War Machine.
Holy shit. ROH is letting WWE use that name?
I don't think it's. I don't know. That could change from between that from what we've seen from the debut and when they hit television. But on the house show, they looked like War Machine,
and they actually were built as War Machine.
Wow.
But yeah, all right. I mean, okay. I think we got everything under control.
I think we got everything covered.
Yep.
I just received a phone call from LegendsLover. She's at work, but it's blizzard conditions up by her job, and we've got nothing down here at the house.
Ooh, okay.
So that sounds like fun.
Yeah, she was getting blown around on the road. So yeah.
Any other general housekeeping notes about professional wrestling that anybody wants to?
We got several podcasts we have to plug. That's for sure.
Also, just want to brief everybody quickly. I mentioned it when we were off air, but this week I may be heading down to downtown Columbus for a special preview of a documentary covering some of the lesser-known black female professional wrestlers from the early 50s These women were the true pioneers of women's professional wrestling, not Mae Young and Fabulous Moolah.
Fabulous Moolah is a name we do not utter here.
Sorry.
That is a band name because of her reputation.
I will hopefully, if I do go, for those of you who are so inclined and follow me on Twitter, I may be posting some stuff from that. So stay tuned. I know there's a documentary coming out, and there are other articles coming out regarding those women because of the documentary. So stay tuned for that. And if I go, I'll be sure to keep everyone posted on my social media.
Okay. Plugs? Plugs.mds?
Plugs.mds. Start with Adam Rice. Do your plugs before everything.
I don't have as many plugs as you guys, so
just plug where can we catch you?
Where can we find you, Adam Rice?
If you so choose and see fit to follow me, you can find me on Twitter at PWFan01. I'm a massive Ohio State fan, so
yes, I know.
Why are you going to say it like that?
We had our argument about the 2 losses that they had. You still kept telling me they need to be in the championship game.
They did.
And so did Penn State when they had 2 losses and won the Big Ten.
I don't want to talk about it.
I digress.
So if you said
but you also have the 0-16 Browns.
Guys.
We're going to screw up their pick in the first round by picking the wrong quarterback again.
Ladies and gentlemen, TM is so fit to make me feel sad, and I don't know what to do about it. So I'm just going to keep reading.
Adam?
If you feel like you want to follow someone who talks a little bit about sports, wrestling, or just generally just hangs around and talk the shit, you can find me at PWFan01. I have a giant Ohio State logo on my page there, and go ahead and hit that follow button if you so choose.
Adam, I love you, brother. I'm giving you shit.
Much love. Much love.
I had to pick on you. You know that. I mean, I'm a Bears fan, so I ain't much better.
That's at least you got
quiet, MBS. Quiet.
Fine. I'll just sit here and be
Do
quiet.
your plugs.
Sure.
Where can they find you, MBS?
They can find me on Twitter. Now I have a new Twitter handle, a Twitter handle. It's Mr. Dr. Senju, MRDR Senju. Catch me there. You need chats, you need talkings. There's that. You can also find me on Cage Side Seats at Mr. Dr. Senju as well. I usually drop by on the daily as well as the nightly. This week I haven't really been dropping by because I was busy. And that's just about it. Taker, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Takers_Minion. You can also find me on Cage Side Seats. Yeah, I'm spending a lot more time in a daily and a nightly both. Plus, you can also find me in some of the Twitch streams watching sumo this week. The last night is tonight. Yokozuna Kakiryu has won the U show for this current Basho that's going on. He's 13-1. His only loss this tournament came at the hands of the man who won the previous tournament, Tochinoshin. Tochinoshin avenged his loss, his only loss, at the January Basho. It was fantastic to watch. Oh, I was dancing around. Plugs of shows that we have. We always have Two Guys, One Sport. They're on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, I believe.
9 p.m. Eastern.
9 p.m. Eastern. You're correct. I thought it was 9, and I changed it up at the last second. There's a brand new podcast that just debuted with our very own Metal Matt. I kind of feel like I'm the godfather to his show because we're the ones that gave him his first experience of a podcast. And it is called the Ruthless Aggression Era Podcast. And I believe that's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Friday nights. We also have the Fizzy's Wacky World Series 2, which did not air this week, as far as I'm aware.
Mhm.
You have to catch that. He's going to have rotating guest hosts until he decides on one overall. We also have the MLW network shows that we promote that are both involving Conrad Thompson.
Mhm.
One is with Bruce Pritchard. That's called Something to Wrestle With. And the other one, Something to Wrestle. That's with Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson. The other one is What Happened When, and that's with Tony Schiavone, the former voice of WCW, and Conrad Thompson.
Mhm.
Both of them drop during the week. Is there any more you want to push there, MDS?
Anymore? Yeah, there is a lot. I mean,
I
one
miss
of
a
them
lot.
we already said. You didn't miss a lot. One of them we already mentioned. Two
Well,
guys.
I forgot Roundhouse Wrestling, and that is Dennis Cowie.
Never mind. Let me just do my plugs.
His shows are on Sunday mornings.
Let me do my plugs.
10 a.m. Central.
Sure. Let me do my flex then. We got Two Guys, One Sport with Crazy Chris Colgan and George Jerkat Savez. One of them. Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling, featuring William Fitzpatrick, or also known as 14 Fitzpatrick, made their triumphant return. We have Violent Wrestling Podcast, currently on a little bit of a semi-hiatus, I think, because of a whole thing. And then we have Match Fixing with Don Sal Guzmano from Cedar Breach Media. We also have Wednesday Night Shootin' with Tanya Rogers and Andrew Swift. And of course, we have two other podcasts and a few other smattering of podcasts like Ringside Geeks and For the Love of Wrestling with Miss Monroe, helming both of these shows, alongside a few other guests that I may or may not remember. And then we have Kate Side Seeds affiliated podcast with Bitter Boys Club with Brent Brookhouse and Ethan Page. Not Your Demographic with Stunning Stella and Erin. Keeping Up with the Kayfabe, Mark Riley, Jody May Esquire, and Jack King. And of course, Bros Before Elbows with Anthony, Farron, and Tommy. Other than that, you can just catch a smattering of podcasts that you can listen to, either affiliated or unaffiliated, under the banner of LIJ or Los Ingobernables, the podcast. Yes, this is episode 37. Yes, 37. I am slowly getting sleepy. Yes, this has been episode 37 of Shootin' the Breeze. Thank you again so much for Adam Rice for dropping by, and as well as LegendsLover for actually making her debut. And thank your wife for that too. And
Yes.
she actually made it. She actually made it until she had to go to work.
Yes,
which is very surprising.
I am surprised I was able to hold it together.
Yeah,
because she is one that I have wanted on this show, MDS, and you've known that for a while. I wanted her to come on this show for quite a while.
Yeah,
and I waited for her to come to me and say, "Hey, I want to do this." If my voice holds up, and I'm glad it held up because she's got opinions. She'll be back, I'm sure.
I'm sure. And yes, we also have another new podcast, a joke podcast with Biff Kennison III. It's called The Pickle Barrel, the real deal. I'd have to say that, but it's a funny thing. Anyway, I'm Mr. Dr. Senju. This has been Shootin' the Breeze, episode 37. For TakersMinion as well as Adam Rice, we shall see you again next week.
Next week we're an hour,
guys.
Next week we're 1 hour early because we have the Breakfast at WrestleMania show.
Yay!
Got the panel already convened.
Yay!
See you all next week. Bye.
Bye.